calendar pages are starting to turn. A special month for which we both yearn. It's not just a day, it's a 30-day spree. A Filipino birthday for George and for Heidi. Heidi says, honey, just a small, simple affair. George just nods, pulling out his good barong, what a pair. Cause a simple party in the Philippines, you see, means the whole barong J is coming for free. Happy, happy birthday month to George and to Heidi. From the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine antics life. Happy birthday, George and Heidi. Happy birthday to you. So grab a red horse and plate of spaghetti. So sweet, a Filipino-American birthday that can't be planned and starts early with the family debate. Who's making the lumpia? Don't be late. Tita Charo's bringing her famous leche flan, while Uncle Bob's in charge of the adobo pan. Heidi's in the kitchen, a little bit stressed. George just chuckles.
Honey, don't you worry, my dear.
In the Philippines, leftovers is a word you'll never hear. Happy, happy birthday month to George and to Heidi. From the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine antiques life.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hi.
Magadan po.
Say hi. Say hi,
Check it
Mary.
out. It's hauling oats over here. Guess who's hauling? Guess who's oats?
Oh, here
She comes. Watch out, boy. She'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes.
She's a man eater.
She's a dog beater. I mean,
That didn't sound right.
meat beater. Did you see that meme that I sent to your message?
Which one?
Several of them, but yeah, it has to do with the same subject. Let me. Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Yes, me and George is calling it quits. We filed for a divorce, 2 years ago? But we still like to get our freak on. So, anyways, you calling it quits? You know,
No.
your class.
No, remember that couple that was pretending they were a couple?
Oh, you mean Peachback Mountain and her old dude up in the mountain where she brought in another heavyset, old, uglier dude?
Right.
You know what? If I was at Peachback Mountain or a Filipino American man and whatever's going on, I had to choose between them two men, I would probably be hooking up with another Filipino or
Yeah,
something.
speaking of Peachback Mountain, guys, again, if you enjoy the show Brokeback Mountain, they will release that movie in the theaters. As
They actually are.
no, really, they are. And for those of you who didn't watch it, don't knock it till you watch it. It's actually a
Hey,
really good movie,
Gio.
regardless of what you think.
Hey, Ted.
Yeah, it's a great movie, actually.
So here's the deal. Today, we said we weren't going to do a live, and we were like mistaken. Our whole entire day out for another one of our birthday outings is tomorrow. So look for us somewhere in Angel City tomorrow. Surprise. So maybe you guys can say hi if you see us tomorrow. But so I want to talk about, me and George did about different things dealing with calling it quits in the Philippines, because it's going to be based on a few things going on here. And one, there's been a lot of chat and people contacting us about Poppy's Bar and Chill closing. They were vloggers. Allegedly, they hadn't paid their employees, and there's a bunch of things going on. They invested a ton of money. These are foreigners that have invested into a business. We're going to talk about travel vloggers and the issue that seems to be carrying on and on about people, whether they're going to stay in vlogging or not with this new thing out. The memorandum. We're not going to go into legalities. We said, what was that, about a week ago, that we've already spoke to our regular attorney. We have an idea where we're at and how it's going to be enforced and what the deal is and what platforms. And we were discussing that. And I just want to say that I don't know why people are so stuck on it just being YouTube. It's just not YouTube. We're talking TikTok, Instagram,
anything.
Facebook.
Regardless of,
And it honestly doesn't matter to the point of the people being monetized. The Privacy Act has been out since 2012,
Yeah.
just like the taxing and the licensing and being able to have the ability to work in the Philippines as the channel owner, being fully in charge. Like some of these vloggers that are here,
Well-
they're strictly in charge of their channels, and they're obviously working here. They do videos every day, they're out recording every day, and they're working in the Philippines and don't have, you know.
In fact, even if you don't have social media, you're not really allowed to just randomly take videos of random people and then keep it for yourself. You know?
Right. If you're at home at a party and it's with family, or if you're, you know, at an event that, you know, you have permission with just a person or a one-on-one interview. Like when we used to bring people and do the interviews, we always got permission, kept it on camera.
Put
and
it this
everything.
way, we had an hour-long interview with Daryl. Okay, Daryl's a great guy. For those who don't know who Daryl is, Daryl in Angel City is the owner of Kokomo's. Yes, a restaurant and 2 hotels. And we interviewed him. We were talking for an hour. We had a camera. He was aware of it, but he did say after an hour, says, "Just so you know, I don't want this out. I don't want this." He didn't say anything wrong.
Right.
It
You
was
have to
just his
respect the
privacy,
privacy.
right?
Mhm.
He says, "I don't want this video out on YouTube or any social media platform," and we never released it. And that's how it works.
Right. So what it is we still see, of course, people are still doing it, but we see that there are a lot of people that are adhering to it. And, you know, and I applaud those that are, you know, going by the law, and people should respect the law here. And the deal with it is what's kind of crazy is Facebook is the biggest offender, Filipinos and expats. See, here's the thing. People are focusing on YouTubers only, when they have everybody that
It
usually is
doesn't-
YouTubers, they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok. If you get 1 star, if you get a star on TikTok or Facebook, which some of them are getting monetized on it, that means any of that content that they've released is still considered slash commercial. We said that a long time ago. Once you're monetized, it goes into, you know, where you may need a permit and all this. And then people said, no, you don't need permits. And it's on the street. I have the right. And we usually get stopped anyways. I've rarely been able to record in a store or a grocery store, but there can be Filipinos in there recording, or other male expats with their Filipinos recording. We get stopped every time. And I get the point. We tried to ask, like when we've done interviews at places. So the whole point is it's like everything else here. I would be interested in seeing how they enforce everything else. We've been saying this is a privacy thing, has been a privacy issue. The guys walking around Walking Street, or all these live streams. And I do not believe it just started with Vitelli. Everybody wants to blame Vitelli.
It's pre-existing.
There's,
right.
you know, they've been, the bar owners and the bar girls and the guys that want their privacy on Walking Street have been screeching forever. But yet there's that's Philippine Life, or whatever that other channel is with the Russian guy and his Filipina. They're always up in somebody's faces. People have swung at them. People have told them, get the camera out of my face. Those are the offenders I feel should go down
Right.
like a crashing airplane, because they're told not to do it, and then they still upload and make money from it. So how they're going to enforce this this new law is, yes, based on who's the channel owner. Only one channel owner. These channel owners that are making any money, okay, at all, whether it's Patreon, whether it's through stickers, because stickers, I think you only need like 1,000 people now, or 900. So in other words, if you're getting stickers, you're monetized. And I know quite a few channels that don't think they're monetized.
Whether you're monetized or not, it's irrelevant.
Well,
No.
yeah, I mean, it is. You still can't do it, but it's not just based on the YouTube channel. It's based on.
And these are things you don't see. For example, I have literally come across I was literally, you know, have my camera, my GoPro set up, okay, and then there was a family who said, whoa. They said it nicely, not like that, but they said, whoa, we don't want to be on your video. And then the lady who I was talking to, because she was selling, you know, food.
Oh, and Filipinos are going to get more
Right.
offended.
She was selling food, and she's like, don't worry about it. He'll edit you out. And I did. And that's the point. You guys don't see this part because it's not released. If that makes any sense, you can't say, oh, they released something they didn't want to be on there. No, of course not. We didn't release it because they said something. Point being is,
well, or
if
we
they
don't release everything. So a lot of
Right,
people are like,
correct.
oh, you guys aren't doing this or that, or
Right.
why aren't you releasing more
And
on there? Because it has been.
most
we've
of
been
them
going by
are
a
where they're
privacy.
being recorded. In fact, they say, you know what, whatever. But
Well,
point
with
being
this
is,
law now, you're
Yeah.
going to have expats, other trolls, other vloggers. It's already bad enough you have Filipinas that or Filipino men that'll say, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah was said. I'm going to take you to court. There's Filipinos fighting Filipinos right now over the craziest things. You got political people that things are being said or photos that are out there. You got the AI stuff. By the way, they're actually working also on all these new AI laws. So if you put out a video that misrepresents something, they're looking to throw all those laws now here in the Philippines too. And a lot of people are adding that stuff. Not as much to the vlogger situation, but so I guess where I'm at on this entire situation is how they're going to determine each platform, each owner, and then how they're going to determine the rest of it also. Because I still feel that the taxes, the business license, the work permit, you're going to enforce the privacy thing. I get it. A lot of people are like, don't discount it. This whole law is about the privacy on this one.
Right.
But you can trust and believe that with this Privacy Act and this AI deal coming up, that they're going to start looking into people's business licensing and their work permits. That's how come they got that new law out about the what's the new visa that they have out, the nomad visa. That's
Nomad
one of the
visa.
things. If you guys are working online and you're sitting your butt here for a year, yeah, you guys are supposed to be adhering to the rest of the laws. And that's why I said I'll worry about it when they knock on my door. Well, we really don't release many videos, and it will be, you said, retroactive. So basically, whenever it was, I think they're claiming it was a week ago. Other people are claiming it's up and coming, that it's a circular. The law has been out since 2012. But we shall see, because I just seen a Filipino video, and basically the waitresses up front were blurred out. People in the background were slightly blurred, where you can kind of tell who they are and you can see the scene. But it's going to affect people. I mean, privacy laws are all over the world, and I think it's going to be who files a case against who, how they're going to enforce it. But we've been saying we feel people should, because these vloggers and Filipino vloggers and people doing the content on TikTok that are doing lives, walking around and all that, I think they need to. But here's the thing, you know, why not go through and enforce all the other, you know, stuff? It's kind of, they got the privacy laws, but then they're uploading to other platforms too that aren't similar, you know, even down to
and you have to
fans
remember
only stuff.
too that the big misnomer is, we're not saying since nobody's doing it, do it. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, be aware that there's other issues
that they're going to ball together.
Well, that's the lead. Well, what I'm saying is, okay, think about it this way. Do you really think that this doesn't apply in the U.S.? I mean, some of you will say and argue with me right now in the chat, say, oh no, if it's in plain view, I can record it. Wrong. Very wrong. But again, I sound like a nut job if I'm going to talk about laws and everything. And again, a lot of Americans, I'm talking about Americans specifically, they're like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm in public property. No, you're not. You are in the property of Best Buy, in the parking lot. This is private property owned by Best Buy.
So basically, you're really not supposed to vlog
There's
anywhere.
A lot of little nuances that a lot of people aren't aware.
It goes deeper than the content that I've seen from
a lot of people will
lately.
argue, and I'm like, I don't care what you tell me. You're not arguing with me, because I can't change the law, nor can you. I'm just telling you.
I think it's funny, the ones that are barking the loudest. Okay, we're talking about Filipinos, expat vloggers, and all that. Most of them aren't even licensed, paying taxes. I have the right to pay my taxes in Canada, so bite me. And I'm like, okay, but that's not how it works. You've been living here for 6 years, so how can you say that?
That literally says otherwise. Right. From the Philippine government.
It'd be interesting how they put all this together. It's like, why don't you enforce the ones that are, you know, that are this, and that? Or how about the ones that are putting their minor children on as children and they're making full content like their babies as Filipinas, this Expat Filipina channels, and they've got young minors up in there. Some of them, they don't even have shirts on and stuff. So
how about the ones that do charity?
yep.
And they
So
really do good. They're not there maliciously. They're actually doing good for the community.
right.
And in order to show what they're doing is they put it on video. So are you going to prosecute them? No, because that's not how it works.
Well, I think they'll pick and choose like they do most of the laws.
Well, I
here.
mean,
That's
it's
why
obviously if you're a
I
dick,
know the Filipina
it's
P addressed it.
right.
That was
The
one
rule
of
is
her.
simple.
Oh, well,
If you're a dick about it,
it's
then
like,
they'll go after you. It's that simple.
right. So my question is how many are going to outright just quit or switch things over or not, do their content? And then you have the people that, oh, well, I'm only going to be there for 3 weeks. And here's the point. They're uploading while they're here. You recorded the content here, then you upload it because you have it set for Canada. That's not going to matter. They're getting down to the brass taxes of everything that they're wanting to do. But I'd be really curious how this plays out. But I guarantee, although you only see a few of them adhering to the rules, I'm not going to call it a full law. The law has been in place since the 2012 Privacy Act, but I would be curious to see how many do, and you should. You should keep people off cameras. You should be able to do your own content. It's going to limit people. And here's the thing. This will cause others to quit, and I guarantee a lot of them are relying on that money. We get like $200 a month. We have for the last couple of years. We get some sticker money at certain time of the year, and the deal is that's not going to break us. But there are some of the people in Filipinos that it's not always that easy to go down to register and do the taxing, and some don't even have their TIN numbers, and it took a little bit to get yours together.
No, it's a pain.
So I'd like to see these Filipinas that are making.
We have official paperwork.
There are channels that I've seen on Facebook that brag, I made $800 this month and stuff. It's like, you live here, are you this? It doesn't matter if you're a foreigner or a Filipino. This applies to everybody. Everybody is interpreting this law as or whatever the memorandum as they see it adjust, or as they want to apply it. And it's like, why don't you guys start with the basics? You ain't even supposed to be vlogging to begin with. I want to get down to brass nut taxes that we've been talking about. And everybody's like, oh yeah, that's not true. I'm allowed to file my taxes. What about the Filipinos? So the whole thing is that they announced a while back in 2021, anybody doing any income, anything online, any social media, any form of working, teaching, all of that, and your butt's sitting here and uploading and doing any of that, you therefore owe it. And then you guys need to go and talk to the BIR and deal with that and learn all of this stuff. So anyways, I will move on from this subject. So that's our take on it, because there's been so many additional Filipinos talking about it, adhering to it, and then you see them all over Angel City. There's a new vlogger every hour getting off that airplane, and they're all still recording. Recently, I can shout out 3 of them in Angel City right now. Some are mid-range, and the other one, I just seen that whatever that channel is with the Russian guy, he's still out there with people on his channel, and to me, he knows it, and he's still out there doing it, and he's putting Filipinos, the girls and everything, and kids on his camera.
Just real quick again, some of you may argue, well, all these other bloggers are doing it, so that means it's okay. No, it's not okay.
No, it doesn't.
What I'm saying is, you have to remember, as a government, and that's what I was trying to say, is the government has more important issues to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate to tell you this, it doesn't matter what you think of yourself, you're insignificant to the government for the most part. And what I'm saying is they're not going to go after you unless somebody actually reports you or something like that.
Especially these trolls that are, or another channel attacking another channel, and that it's like, oh, I'm going to turn them in because their video has this and that, and this and that. Yeah, basically that just gets tied up in court for a long time. So we shall see on that. Also, where did I put that at? Speaking of hot mess, me and George was discussing this morning, talk about quitting and everything else, the trash thing going on in Manila. 2 of the companies actually stopped picking up trash like 4 or 5 months ago. They declared a state of emergency. They were showing it on on television, and it's 17 million US dollars unpaid worth of trash and contracts. So they're not picking up anymore. So there's a big thing going on, and they just declared that state of emergency along with all the flooding going on there and the dams and bags and everything else that's going on. So they just quit on stopping those floods down there.
Well, I could too if I don't get paid.
I didn't realize there was any trash service there.
Well, you have to remember to, again,
I guess
even
there
in
is.
the U.S., a lot of people think that trash service is part of the government. It's not. It's all,
Really, I think that's just
they're
a
all like private.
So yeah, I think it's actually to pick up the main source and take it out to the dumps, not like having waste management in Florida and stuff where they came twice a week or something. Same here. Most of the places we've been in Matalakit and Angel City, we have to individually find them walking down the street to actually take our stuff. Depends on what subdivision you're on or where you're at and everything.
Right, and that's why there's a lot of flooding, even in areas that never flooded before, is because the trash, again, flows down to the drain holes and then clogs them up, and then there's your flood.
Yeah. So we'll go in and say hi to people. We'll talk about like what people have been talking about, Poppy's Bar and Chill. Get your thoughts on things. Let us know where you're at. Look at this. All this stuff came down. I didn't. Every time we play a video and this new stuff, you can't see anything. So let's put this up. And what's going on?
Hey, Ted, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello, beautiful people. It's about time you you call it quit farting around and get to work.
I quit this morning farting out loud. I just held it in and gassed him out with the blanket.
Right.
Which one has the dark hair and Hall & Oates, guys? Let us know which one's Hall & Oates. And you was asking me something about the YouTube today.
Huh?
What was it you were asking me about?
Well, actually, that's another thing.
Are you
So
Oates? I'm Hall and he's Oates, I think. I'm Oates, he's Hall. Oates, I guess, with the light hair.
speaking of YouTube
You're a dark Hall.
or whatnot, I watched this guy yesterday. He's on YouTube, and I'm not gonna tell you his channel.
A and B.
Now, you guys don't know what e-begging is until you see this guy.
Are you talking about that nutball here
No,
in the
no, no,
Philippines?
no,
Because
no,
he
no.
was talking about
He
another
says-
vlogger
he
e-begging.
says,
Like we're going to e-beg like all get out. We make
If
200
if I
bucks a
don't
month.
get $150 in this live,
Oh,
it's
jeez.
not a good day. I'm like, what the freak? And now keep in mind, he does a live about 2 hours a day, so he wants.
Hey, he has goals. I can appreciate that.
He wants $150 per 2 hours. I was like, what? And he complains and
They
whines
actually
every live.
yeah,
that's
but that's
all he
probably how
does.
he gets his money, though. I hate to say it. It's some people's full-time job. I mean, I guess we all can't sit around on coconut shells and pink bikinis
No,
and
that's
stuff
what they tell
and
him. They
dance
said
around.
get a job, a full-time job. But here's the thing. Here's the funny part.
They have to work.
The people in this circle, because we all have our little circles
Hey, Raymond.
of
Magadama,
YouTubers.
Maga, Las
Kind
Piñas.
of like me and Heidi are part of, like, I know we have nothing to do with Dumaguete, but we're kind of with the Dumaguete and Calvin, Old Dog, that kind of deal. So in his circle, the funny thing is, the reason why he's like that, they get the people in his circle get easy 200 per live, for 1 hour live.
It could be the
200.
area they're in.
Right. But what I'm saying
tags.
is you can't look at other people and expect to get the same.
All right, guys.
Same
Here is the George's second birthday cake. Hey, look, I got him a spoon this time. So this is basically a cheesecake. Yeah. Basically, it's got tropical fruit, dark chocolate, and it is basically a cheesecake, but it's more on the egg custard side. So you got your baby spoon today. Yeah, you look kind of silly, but give that a whirl.
Waka, waka, waka.
I got no time for that. Yeah, it's super thick and everything. So tell me what you think of that.
It's hard to eat this.
It's thick like your junk this morning. That's stuck to the wall. What do you think? Tastes like vanilla?
Is that what that's about? Oh, skate to the wall. Hi.
From the window.
Yeah,
What's
from
this?
the window
Yeah, they
to the wall.
skeet, skeet, skeet. Yeah, we said, yeah, we no longer, that is not the same person that went from the window to the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Horrible.
Yeah?
No,
Tastes
guys,
more like a New York cheesecake.
whenever me and Heidi say it's horrible, it means it's usually good.
The problem is for George, if I notice he's picking at something and barely eats it, if he scarfs it down and says the whole time, like I made some sort of bean soup that had like 3 different meats in it, he was like, oh man, this is good the whole time. But if he eats one of my meals and he's just like, and then he leaves half a plate, then I know he doesn't like it. So what do you think? Does it taste like a New York cheesecake because of the thickness? It stays together, or it's
No, it does. It tastes like
yeah.
cheesecake.
So yeah, because it's got a fraction of the cheesecake, more eggs, and so yeah.
No,
so.
it's really good. Good hump day, Wednesday, July 2nd. The Real Housewife of Orange County. July. Oh, that's right. July 4th is coming up.
Correct. Yep.
What is
Actually,
freedom
yeah.
to
Tomorrow
you?
for us, freedom is
Too
getting
legit.
free.
Too legit to quit.
Hey,
What? How's the
freedom
quit? How's
is
the
when
quit?
George shaves his bush and I don't have to fight to get to the boy.
A lot of bush.
So
A lot of
that's
bush for the
freedom.
pushing. A lot of bush.
It's a bounce pad.
Yep.
Brillo bounce pad.
A lot of bush.
It looks like his hair. I remember when I first met George, pictured this, him walking through the house, and all I could see is he's a lighter Filipino, and then he had the dark hair on top, and then he had bush. And I'm like, George likes to walk
Yeah.
around. He's
No,
an
they even
exhibitionist.
made a saying about me, you know, bird in the bush and balls in the hand, something like that.
Okay. Sure. There's your vision.
Yeah.
Gio, good morning. What is
Hey,
going
Gio, how you
on?
doing? Good morning.
We got Boney M inside. Boney M. Whoop, whoop. We got Boney M in the house.
Oh yeah, inside house.
Where's it at? Oh, because I said the silent quitting thing. That's another thing. We got silent quitting here in the Philippines. Like,
What's
mean,
that?
that's when, like, when we went to the Chinese restaurant, the Cantonese one, and like there's no refills, there's nobody coming to take the plates away, there's nobody rushing to do anything. And I get the wages. I get it. Now here's the thing. People need more wages here, don't get me wrong. But as any country, you would have to know wages are supposed to meet what actually, like your rent's $200 a month or $150 a month or $450 a month, and then transport. But things are really off on that. But anyways, jumping around and digressing, that the silent quitting is just when like no effort's being taken. It's kind of like a kid that knows he's failing high school, and it's like, yeah, I'm not even going to show up to class today. I'm just going to sit home and just have a beer or something. So, but you have the silent quitting going on here in the Philippines. Shout out, hey, Slick Rick, what is going on? Good morning, ugly Taurus. Woohoo! I'm an older ugly man.
Uglier man. Oh, speaking of older, okay. So this eventually, I think this is gonna hit America because it's already in America.
Hey,
Okay?
Sperlin, what
And
is going
what
on?
am I talking about? In the Philippines, when you're older, either
Nice
they
guy.
call you tatay, lolo, tatay, which is like dad, you know, but it's just a title, and then lolo, which is grandpa. Hey, grandpa, you know, or tito, uncle, you know, uncle.
I get called Tito all the
So
time.
you know how Indians, you know, they say, "Hey, uncle, hey, uncle, hey, uncle."
Yeah.
You know, here they do the same thing. Hey,
Mhm.
uncle. So anyway, I was playing Call of Duty, right? And then they're like, "Hey, uncle." I was like, "Gosh!" And these are
You do
American.
forget how old you are.
These
right?
are Americans, and they're not kids. These are
no, they're
adults.
starting to, yeah, it's because
Right.
your age, yeah.
And then the funny part is like, "Hey, uncle, they're around the corner. Go on the other side." And I was like, "Uncle, huh?" And why are you whispering? They can't hear us.
Right.
But anyway, no. It's already in the US. It's just I think it's in just the
I think
gaming
it's
community right
well,
now.
I think it's in the culture too, because there's a lot of Hispanic people and there's a lot of foreigners now. Because we wouldn't have called somebody uncle
Yeah,
back in the
no,
day. I think
babe,
it's a culture.
these are white people. I mean, no offense to anything.
Yeah,
No,
I
these
get
are,
what you're saying.
and they're older. They're not kids. They're, they're adults.
Yeah.
And they're like, uncle. I'm like, what the freak?
Geo says, I'll likely be done and out of here by the year in myself. Here's the
Aw.
thing. I really think at this point, it doesn't matter down to the brass tacks that people are missing the whole point that is a Privacy Act. Basically, as our attorney said, that it's down to the privacy thing. They're going to be looking for the people that are putting these kids, the walking street girls, other tourists that don't want to be seen, other Filipinos that don't want to be seen, the ones that are focusing their live streams, the ones that are acting out, the ones that they'll put like these people out that'll start watching. They're already watching social media and getting people. There are a bunch of when that tax thing came out and the licensing thing in 2021 where people took, and took off and stuff. But in a nutshell, it will cause people to not like us. We were barely doing it. Now we're just like, you know what? It's more out of privacy than making any money. So it's going to be, there's no reason. We've been doing live streams and probably people go to live streams. That's fine. But it's going to cause people that are coming in here to not do it. Think about it. If you're here, they usually upload while they're here. They just don't come here for 2 days. And I don't know how they're going to enforce even the ones that come in for 3 days as bloggers and then release the content when they get back to America.
Well, they can't because that's how it works.
That's just it. So it's going to be, once they know that the Philippines is marked with no vlogging in public, basically is what's going on, or the stores, or,
that's been in place.
It's been in place. So it's just that we and others have just been loosey-goosey with it or don't give a crap. And the same ones, like I said, yelping about, they're not licensed. They don't have, their stuff together as far as, what do they call that? Independent contractors. Those that do teaching, those who do any work online, those that bring. Now, I know people will say that if they're employed in America, say I'm trying to think of a company, some online company that does insurances, this and that, and they're doing business here and all that, it still always has applied. That's why that new visa is coming out. That would include jobs like that. You're supposed to bring proof that you have a job back in America or wherever. So people will only see the laws as they want to, or interpret it or see fit, and they ignore it. And they, here in Asia, it's like they apply it like they want to too. So we shall see. And I think it will interrupt some of the vloggers. So yeah, we shall see. I think, honestly, and I know people will disagree, that I still feel the Filipinos are the highest ones that are putting the auto accidents and everything. Like you know what I seen yesterday that just recently happened? A guy jumped off the bridge with his kid, and they were like trying to get him to stop and everything. And it's all over Facebook now and Instagram. And I'm like, and what about reposting people's stuff? They allow reposting on all platforms. So what happens when you repost somebody that showed that, because you're trying to show your people, it's then on your platform. So maybe you guys want to comment on that, because I thought about that yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm about ready to repost where there's flooding and people being wiped out and their groceries and items that are selling in the market. And there's a bunch of people in it. And I'm like, that's still the same thing. You're still with it on the page. It's still on, our thing on Facebook. And it's still there. You're not the owner of the video, but you're letting everybody else see. So where's the line going to be drawn? What do you think? Where do you think it'll be drawn on reposting somebody's stuff and it's still on your page?
You're so liable.
Correct. That's what I thought too.
I forgot what the wording for it, but there is a wording for it. No, you're still liable.
Well, we got hit that one time with
it's redistribution. Yes.
We had on Instagram where we reposted, the people came back and hit us. We got hit with a strike on Instagram like 6 months ago. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. They had the check in the box to reuse it. All we did was repost it and we got hit with it. I was like, what was it? The song or something with it? No. If they remove
well,
it.
Here, the real reason that's kind of odd. The reason being is you're allowed. They allowed you to repost
Like
it.
YouTube right now, all of our videos.
So they're
you can make a short out of it. Is
Yeah,
what
you
you're
can-
allowed to do.
correct.
When you check that box, that does
but
get
they
people.
decided to renege to change their mind,
And then everybody that used it supposedly had it.
Right.
They had an issue.
which
I'm
is
like,
a dick move. I mean, that's really on them. That's no, really it is.
it was.
Because there's a lot of legalities, even in copyrights and everything, and reviews or whatever. And I'm pretty much more knowledgeable with it now. But regardless, it's not what people think.
Yeah. Patriot Life says in U.S. tax call doing a sidekick on your tax return. Yeah, but there are laws in every country on how it's to be applied. And we're not tax people. You guys need to check it out. But I know that even for the Philippines, if you're working in the Philippines, it doesn't matter what country, the tax people down at the BIR, they said if you're here inside of the country recording, working, selling, you still need all these items, the business license, the taxing. You pay your taxes that you have for the US back there, and you pay your stuff for the Philippines here. You guys are still working, and people are just kidding themselves. And we had so many people, oh, you guys are wrong, and you're allowed up to 100,000 US a month, and I file all my stuff back, and I have a bunch of Airbnbs. They're renting Airbnbs,
Which makes
and
it
they're
worse.
doing it here, and then
Makes
they're
it worse.
filing everything back in the
That's not how it
US,
works.
and so then you're not telling something to your country, and it's the same as always. People like all the tax situations are just, it's how it's, what do they call that?
Like I said,
on the down low.
It doesn't mean that the BIR isn't going after you, that it's okay. It just means that you are just
Risking a lot.
such a small fry that BIR is not going to mess with you yet. But point being is, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah, you're supposed to follow the laws. I mean,
It's kind of like a kid stealing a lollipop from a Sari store. And,
it's like, hey, Joe
and
just
then-
took one.
and then they're just going to let the kids like, oh, it's just a kid. Let him go. But point being,
He's just an old dude.
that doesn't make it right.
Just a
for
foreigner.
anyone or
Yeah.
anything stealing that lollipop. Get it? It's still wrong.
You know, the craziest thing when this first came out, like literally we knew about it. People were like, well, that's only for expats because of Vitelli. And I'm like, no, this has been going on. You guys are all blaming it on
This
Vitelli,
is
Fall Guy.
old law. It's just the same. It's kind of like
They're putting out
it's kind of like
and the memorandum came out in March.
11515,
They just
the
updated.
anti-bustas law. Again, it's an old law, but when it
Yeah,
all of a
who's
sudden
enforcing it?
there's this new law. I'm like, no, dude, it's been out.
Same with the taxes. You technically, no matter what, we're supposed to, but
Yeah,
pay the taxes.
here's the
But
tip, guys.
the law had been going on
When
because
you hear about a law, look at the last two digits. Those two digits tells you when it was released.
Mhm.
So the 11515 means it was released in 2015. But guess what? They made a big hoopla in 2022. Ooh, it's a new law. Nah, dude, it's an old law. Same thing with this. Now, I didn't look up what the law is with this vlogging thing, but I guarantee you it's
the
not
taxes and
2.5.
everything else in 2021. If you worked here, it was supposed to be anyways. But being so many vloggers came up and so much social media and people started making money during the pandemic, they had to reiterate, hey, by the way, you guys are working. By the way, you are making money. You owe us money. And I know I made a statement about, well, when they enforce the traffic and when they enforce the accidents and the insurances and the trash and the kids being exposed and all that, then you let me know. Because it's kind of like here in the Philippines, it depends on who's got money, who you are, what businesses get messed with, who inside the government and all these other things. But just because all of this is going on doesn't mean you shouldn't follow the law. You
No,
definitely
and again,
should.
doesn't
I suggest, as we always have, don't vlog. George just said that. Most of our stuff is live
Please
streams.
do not vlog for your own sake.
I believe I just seen Rose Campbell from the Campbell channel. She was talking about kind of how things were rough on their marriage. And I know the vlogging did, even if you're just doing one and only if you're like,
Well,
we
that's
used
another
to.
thing. If you value your marriage, don't vlog because they'll
There's
put a
been,
crimp in it.
you guys have seen us. We did. I don't even try to hide picking on George or where things have gotten tense before and all of that. And at one point we did a live stream for 30 days straight. We did one every day. It's coming up with the topic and this and
Oh shoot, we used to do 24-hour lives.
well, we do one at Christmas.
Yeah, we're
birthday
doing
month.
24-hour live.
Yeah,
Yes.
birthday and
Yes,
Christmas.
we usually do 24-hour lives, right?
Yeah, it's usually twice a year. So
Hey,
with our
Mike.
birthday month. So so that's where it is. And me and George even had a full discussion and a small argument about this, and we weren't going to cover it until we seen a bunch of more people cover it. And the most extensive one that I seen, and we had spoke out on it first, was our Philippine journey. Mike, we do watch him. He did a really good job at breaking that down, because we had just said, probably a week ago, that we had spoke to ours, because we've had one in retaining since we've been in this country. And you should have an attorney on retainer when you're running a business and when you're a foreigner, and the things that could go on. You never know if you're going to end up in jail from punching somebody in the nose like George or Mr. Hall over here. Say hi, Hall. Say hey, yeah. So you never know when you're going to end up in old jail here. So in saying that, yeah, pretty much everything he said was said. I mean, he was a little looser with this stuff on how he was saying how they're going to enforce it when. And of course, we picked his brain, but exact same thing. So we shall see how this plays out. But I think it's going to slow down. I mean, tourism's already slowing down. We'll see how it affects. I think 75% will continue to vlog, 80%. And including Filipinos and expats, but I think they will start going somewhere else. I really think the ones, if we were at the height we were 5 years ago and we liked recording like we did in Mexico, we might be like, you know what, I'm just going to stay in Mexico. You see what I mean? If that's what we really, which we did at one point, we love live streams now, but back then we did like getting out and doing like Centro, and we used to do gags and jokes out and about and stuff. We're just talking about, like, we used to carry our cat around in a backpack and used to dress up and everything, that type of stuff. We didn't get up in people's faces. But if that's where we were as of 5 years ago, and we wanted to do that here, and that was how much we used to like it, then we might have considered staying in Mexico. No? Look at all there. You get what I'm saying. Vloggers may choose, or expats may choose to go other places. But, well, they're on the cusp sometimes of going to Thailand.
Well, okay.
If you can't show scenery with people in the background,
really think
or
that they
businesses,
don't have these laws in Mexico? I guarantee you they're there too.
Well, no, I get that.
Again, this is just,
reiteration. Yeah,
reiteration, fear mongering, whatever. I don't care who you are, what
we
you
said
are.
that the first time. It's there.
We're not saying that because other people are doing it, you're okay to do it. We never said that. In fact, again, we're the ones who actually are legal, have paperwork, are paying taxes, yada yada yada.
For 4 years,
we're the ones that are actually telling you, know this, know that, no.
We're doing the quarterly taxes and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Gio says, yeah, YouTube makes you disclose AI videos now. Yeah, I guess the Philippines is putting together, it's not congressional, they're putting together teams now, because a lot of it is doing fake news. The vloggers are making fake news with the AI stuff. They're using it to make it look like other political people. Them are the ones they really want to go after.
I hate to say it, but
the AI
new
is getting
VO3 is really realistic.
Crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy.
VO3.
Yeah, it'll be impossible to force. I mean, they're not. I mean, I'm like, the first thing that comes to my head is a traffic here. It just, these are, I seen the other day 3 kids on a motorcycle with 2 parents. How they got 5 people on one motorcycle, and groceries.
That's a good example.
And it's like they never stop them ever. And it's
that's
like,
illegal. For those of you wondering, Philippines is weird, and what I'm saying is, okay, here's an example. Heidi brought it up. All right, so you have a motorcycle, right? In the U.S., you have a motorcycle and a sidecar. If you separate the sidecar, you drive your motorcycle, you're good. Here in the Philippines, the moment you break off that sidecar and drive just the motorcycle, that's illegal. Because according to the registration, here when you register a motorcycle, it's either alone or with a sidecar. You cannot separate them. And what I'm getting at is, on your registration, it actually says number of passengers. On a single motorcycle, passengers number is 2. That includes the driver. Anything over that, it's against the law. So what I'm saying is, if you see 3 on a motorcycle, even if they're all
you can
adults,
take your glasses off. You're gonna leave them on.
ah, it's all right.
Okay.
So
I can
so
see
if-
your eyes. That's driving me nuts.
so if there's 3 of them, even if they're adults and even if they all have helmets, that's illegal. So no, and then here, no, they have 4 of them or 5 of them,
Some
and
cops
most of them are
silent
kids
quitting.
with them. So, but
Mhm.
point being is because there's so many of them.
There's still e-trike laws in
Well,
place, and
that's
they're
what I'm
never
saying.
being
Like, cops do pick and choose who
It
they go
is.
against.
And they're underpaid. I get it. That's why you're not going to have it until a Filipino files against you, until an expat files against you, until you say something about a dirty old man that likes to get mad at your channel, decides, oh my God, you're not supposed to do that. And then the dumb idiot had our thumbnail up. He's got like 2, he's got one of our thumbnails, and then he's got me in one of his thumbnails. And then he wants to talk about somebody else's image on our thumbnail. It just depends on who's reporting you, what's going on, their mood and everything else. But I must say, you guys still got to follow the law. It's the same in the US. Someone just said imaging uploading is now illegal in the US. Yeah, all the laws pretty much of privacy and who you're allowed to, or what was we talking about the other day? People taking clips from people's videos and all of that stuff, how long and the reactions. They have a whole new thing on TikTok about how long or what you're allowed. You're not even supposed to use green screens. Are they still doing it? Yeah,
Yes,
everybody is.
yes.
And it's, so people are fussing a muss and a muss and a fuss over this, and I get it, as you should, but in my opinion, it's their content. That's why we haven't done a full video. Yeah, George picked me up one of those this morning, and I'm like, no, sorry, that's still too. There's probably at least a cup of sugar melted down in that. By the way, I was just showing George that I am down. It had on the 16th. It's been a month that I've been cutting out on all the junk, and I have to stick to it. The doctor told me to stick to it because of multiple medical conditions. I'm down 8 pounds already this month, so I'm really excited. I made like bean burgers for us, lentil and vegetable burgers last night. They're pretty yummy. So George wasn't so happy.
You just reminded me of beans and beans.
Yeah, well, too bad. And then
Because they have pork and beans here. Well, sans the pork. There's something that looks like pork, but
so
it's
then
not pork.
here's
But
George's
they use lentils on some of them.
breakfast, and then you see his orange drink over there. I said, no, George, I can't have that. And really, the soy is giving me a hard time. But I'm really like excited. But yeah, he's got, I mean, honestly, when I look at the food now, I've had such a bad 90 days of health issues and my bones creaking and all that. And a doctor says, yeah, if you don't do it, you're going to be out of here in 6 months. So I'm like, yeah, I have to. So when I look at something like that now, I just think about how painful that is. So, hey, what's going on? Second Wind, good morning. House is looking good. Is that Taeyong? A lot of expats believe the laws in America apply to every other country. Now, that's true. Yeah, they take a lot of them that go somewhere else. And
well, they assume that's a normal assumption. A lot of people assume that the laws are the same everywhere, but it's not.
In my opinion, I know now with all these new vloggers, if you had to take a percentage in the last 5 years that's been here like we have, and the ones that are doing everything as legal as possible, I can honestly say that we're probably one of those top people. I mean, there are big Filipino channels that have no choice. They're making big time money like Filipinos, and we're not a big channel. But the ones that started adhering to making sure they were licensed and they were paying the taxes and that they were looking into like if there are people that will still record somewhere even when they're not supposed to. They're quite rude about it. They upload it. They're breaking the law every 2 minutes. There's all kinds of stuff. We've been trying to do that. And so I really, I'd be interested to see who they're going to start enforcing this whole thing. So.
Well, that's another thing too. For those of you who are wondering, well, you guys do it? Yes and no. Actually, if you guys pay attention, you guys ever wondered why
I've been legal to work here
doing
and
less and less out and about videos? It's because most of the time when we break out a camera, we're not allowed to.
That, and we just feel awkward because it is a privacy thing and it's a law.
Yeah.
And so
no, and that's the thing.
I think the
You know.
others are based on money or rudeness. You know what I mean? The others are making a ton of money,
Right, a lot-
so they're doing it.
Well, it's kind of
or
like,
they're
you
just being
know,
rude
you're not
and
really
they just put
supposed
it
to
up for.
record in the grocery store, that kind of deal.
Well, here's another thing.
Keep in mind that applies in America. Just so you guys know.
Everybody has a camera, and I don't know about you. It's getting odd. Like Filipinos, and don't take no offense, Filipinos, all of them have cameras out. Like there was them 2 kids in that car. What was that? Just a year ago that passed away. There was like 80 Filipinos standing around with cameras, and it was like crazy. And all of them, I'm sure, uploaded to Facebook and other places. And I'm like, and then other people were on the camera, other people reacting, and it's everybody's looking for that live, instant reaction of the raw gut feeling from people. And it's just getting out of control. I think eventually there'll be a real universal law where it'll just be illegal to do it. They're just going to cut everybody off, which, as they should, or maybe there'll be that electric, that EMP that'll drop and wipe everything out. No more vlogging.
And I'm not making things up. And here's the thing. And I'm not talking about AI, because there's AI crap out there. I'm talking about real stuff.
Yes.
Remember this movie, Faces of Death?
Oh, man. Yeah.
I tell you what. Filipino social media is worse. They show
I reposted
everything.
some stuff. Yeah, you guys will see where I've been reposting
like
stuff.
the one that recently that I saw was this guy getting electrocuted, and he turned into barbecue. And it was they posted it.
They just showed a man and his 2-year-old child. He actually fed him water because he had been up there so long, and then he jumped with it, and that was the end of it.
Yeah,
and they're showing
these are not AI, because there's a string of
so
fake AI on.
and that's
no,
I'm like,
stuff.
what are they going to do about Facebook? Because it is mostly offenders are the Filipinos, and there were a bunch of people down there with cameras. Instead of trying to help somehow, some way, like people said, they were standing there with cameras. Like when they had that fire at the public market 4 or 5 years ago, when that all burned down, I said, why isn't anybody grabbing the hose with the 2 guys out there? They were standing around recording it. I think that was 2021. When did the public market burn down?
Well,
They're in Angeles, and they rebuilt.
Yeah,
it's been about 4 years ago.
Well, it's more than that now.
Well, we've only been here 5. It happened while we were here.
Huh?
Yes, that market got rebuilt. Yeah, that's when Brian and Lut and all them were down there. Well, it happened
before that.
I'm pretty sure it was when we first got here. But anyways, it's been 4 or 5 years. But with the hose and everything, there was nobody on the hose. They were all with cameras recording what was going on.
No. Again, like I said, one of them, there's a girl who was driving a motorcycle but wasn't aware of the area, and she wasn't aware of the turn, but the turn was a ditch. So she fell in the ditch. It's a deep ditch, like a deep one, probably a 20-foot drop, and she fell on her back and everything, and people were filming her instead of going down there and grabbing her,
Look at this. This is just recent, too. They took them off the security thing, stuck it in, and walked right out.
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. Did you see that with the fishbone?
They do that in the U.S. I'm talking about
Oh, did you see this one?
What is that?
That is all goldfish on the highway.
Oh, they're dead.
The whole truck, tilted over with the goldfish. Yeah, see, these are repostings of, look at this guy. This is me on Friday night. No, he's perfectly fine. He's out there collecting money and.
Okay. They can't see it.
No, I know. I'm just. No, I'm showing him where how much of it is accidents. I've seen more accidents recently. And they will pick the people off the ground, half bloody, looks like their necks are broken, and they just leave this all on camera, and it's a trip. So in the U.S., as long as you're on public property, you can film anything you want. No.
No, if they don't want to be on camera, you can't.
Even in the U.S., that's what people think is that,
that's a big misconception.
That if you're on that was a big thing about public streets here a couple years ago. There were several vloggers that were going on about how it was a public street, but the Privacy Act was always there. It was always there. If you are, and there are kids and women that don't want to be on camera, it's no longer private for you to do it. You can, but you still have to adhere to several laws. It's kind of like drinking and driving. You can drink, but what can you do while you are doing that that's legal? You have to look at all the laws, not just the one that people are wanting to focus on. It's kind of like, it's like everything. You got to know the bylaws and all that. And most of us aren't attorneys. I don't know all the tax laws, and maybe somebody from Slovenia doesn't have to do taxes at all because they're the third son of a immigrant from China or something. I don't know what the laws are. There's always some sort of loopholes, and people just always think there are loopholes. So, but no, he went overboard, and that is it is a big cause of it. That is for sure. It's image body uploading for X-rated. I like the hair. I like you with that one than the other wig. Again, you look like Colin Oates versus
That's Jimi Hendrix.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we haven't seen Hendrix in a while. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Jessa. The law in the Philippines is not too far away from the laws in Norway. Here in public, you are not allowed to film in public, but you are not allowed to publish unless you follow the guidelines. I think most countries have it. It's people know, and they're still brazen, and I think they're thirsty. Like, there's a lot of people making money. I mean, there is a big percentage that aren't making any money at all, but for the most part, they're making something on the other platforms like YouTube. What is it? Less than 10% make any money at all. But then they're making money on, like, now they can get stickers, or so they're making a little bit of money, or they're doing Patreon on the side and they're showing all their wicked stuff. And which, by the way, even on Patreon, there's limits on the wicked stuff. I tried to show George's bush and they said no. They said, you got, although we don't see nothing, we know exactly what's behind that bush, right? It's kind of like, doink. That's
Right.
memory. That's like this morning. Get it.
Right.
How's that feel? When was your?
Oh, don't do that.
Woo! Well, that was last week how it felt. You had a hot dog in your ear? Hot dog.
All the time.
Oh my God. When are you going on vacation again? It's vacation time. As an expat vlogging, hey Ruby, in the Philippines, you have to respect, yes, and follow the law. Yep, that's what we were saying. Enforcement to the Filipinos wouldn't be a priority for local government. That's not true. That's what everybody's been saying. Enforcement to Filipinos won't be a priority for local government, but focusing on expats who are on tourists. That's just it, and that would be pretty biased. But I think they're going to be focusing on both, because there have been so many. Remember the guys that were approaching the Filipinos a couple years ago that went to the gas stations and they were like lighting things on fire and giving fake money? So no, the Filipinos are, crazy too.
And it's kind of like this. For those of you who are not aware, again, the Philippine government is after
Filipinos need to respect too.
Well, they're after the vloggers that aren't paying taxes, and they're going after Filipinos first. And again, big giant misconception to, I hate to break your hearts, guys. The ones in the chat,
it's going to loop around too.
The biggest vloggers in the Philippines are not even close to being foreigners. They're Filipinos. Mm-hmm. The top 100 on the list are Filipinos.
I mean, we're not saying nobody's adhering to all of the vlogging stuff, but I love the ones that are putting out that,
no, hey, I'm talking about really big Filipinos.
Hey, there's this an act going on, but they're not even looking in their backyard. You got to stop. It's like,
it's not who you guys
just because you stop vlogging in public doesn't mean when you're on air and TikToking and doing all this and you're making stars and all this other stuff.
The point being is the Philippine government is after Filipinos.
And I will let you guys know, and I can honestly say this, I've been legal on everything since I've been here.
And like I said,
down to my Social Security. So it's a trip what's focused on and what's not. And I say at the end of the day, it's like, it's just some damn content, It's where it is. But appreciate the comment, Ruby. as on tourist visa anywhere in the world doesn't allow you to work in
No,
that
that's
country.
correct. That's absolutely correct.
And I believe the rule that we were told by our attorney and by the BIR on that is when they're here, I think it pretty much gets around when they get the ACR. It's either at 60 or 90 days, because you have to get the card that you carry. And here's the thing, eventually, I figure in another 2 years, they're going to be so zoomed in on the ones that are on what thing. They're going to start checking, asking about them being a vlog. I think it'll all get down to the taxes, licensing, because they're going to want to make the money on it. But it's been like that. And so the ones that are coming in for 3 days, getting content and uploading, they might not be so harsh on it, but they may require that they do it when they leave, or who knows. But it's been like that. Yeah, they're actually working. You're like, well, that's not working. Yeah, it is. Honestly, I love you, Calvin. I heard your video from yesterday about being retired, and he goes on about how he's retired. And we do too, but he says that he stopped the rat race and he's not working anymore. And I'm like, that's the hardest working man in the Philippines right now when it comes to vlogging. He does a vlog every day. He does 3 or 4 live streams a week. He does the meet and greets. He goes on these vacations and records. No, Calvin, you still working, my babe. I mean, think about Calvin. He's always working. He's talking with people. He's doing the giveaways. He's doing stuff on Facebook. That still requires time. That still requires work. That takes effort. That's a no. So, I mean, yeah, that's just when we were doing it every day, that was just too much. So that's why we do the 2 or 3. And I'm still surprised you're up today, Mr. Hall. Yeah. Did you guys say?
Oh, they said it's Oats.
Oh, Oats is the dark hair one? Okay. I thought Hall was the dark one. Oh, Hall is the blonde. I noticed a dart icon and a timer in the upper left. Is that the one? Okay. What that is, that's what George was asking me. The dart in there is the stickers. So it's a recommendation that you do it. So we set it's a goal of 10 stickers, and when the 10 stickers are met, then we'll tell you George's favorite toy, and probably mine, and a childhood memory that George has never even told me. Isn't that right? And no, I don't want to hear about the Stretch Armstrong and the hole that you cut into him for pleasure.
Well, I can't help it if corn syrup feels good, but anyway.
It's corn syrup in there?
Yeah, it's flour and corn syrup.
That reminds me of a time that I took a road trip and what the kids did. Did I ever tell you about the Stretch Armstrong and the dog? The kids were in the back of the truck, and, well, it was a covered truck. So let me let you know that there was a window that was opened on the side. And the kids, we were moving, and they took something, a screwdriver. They had to be 3 and 4 years old. And there was no way they got out, so I just want to let you know they were safe. But they stabbed the Stretch Armstrong. The glue got everywhere, and whatever was in it, and we had a dog back there with them, a small collie shepherd with long hair. We had a dog food bowl and a water bowl back there so he could drink and everything. By the time we got to the next stop and went to Taco Bell, all of them were rolled in dog food, dog hair, and that glue from the Stretch Armstrong. And then I found out they stabbed it with the...
Yeah, it's corn syrup.
It was horrible. I could not get him
does
cleaned
it make
up.
Sense?
Yeah, but I thought it was something else.
Yeah,
but
it's corn syrup. It's corn syrup and flour.
Yeah, because our son was playing with the, and I guess he got an idea to figure out what was in him, but it was that, not the kibble and bits. It's the one with the long pieces and little pieces of cheese, but it was practically soft. It was in their hair. I thought I was going to have to shave all of them both. That's how bad it was. And I said, never mind, let's just get the Taco Bell and go on. But we were traveling in between states, and, you know, we only had so many boxes, but geez, this is, got it 30 years ago, but I'll never forget that. So there's your free story, guys. Oats. Okay. Oats is the dark one. Yeah. Ruby's talking about our monthly garbage fee is $150 and it gets collected every week without a miss. Our guy, the new guy that we've had for a while, ours is $200 here, but I usually give him $300 or $400 a month. Yeah, yes, because he's been great. I don't like that he comes like at 10 o'clock at night and he yells out to the neighbor at 10 o'clock at night. It's kind of crazy that he'll yell out,
Well,
against the dog.
it'll show up tonight.
Yeah, and
It's
because
Thursday.
so he comes twice a week and he cleans the inside of the can, and
Yeah.
he's been really
And
good. So
remember, it varies. Like in our last area,
which is like $9
it
a
was
month.
50 pesos per, and he picks up every week. Well, twice a week actually. But, yeah.
Okay, Daryl Hall. Okay, Hall is the.
Like,
So then I guess I'm Hall, someone with the lighter gray thing. Yeah. Jimmy Swagger's finances didn't get even enough money to keep him alive, right?
dang, Jimmy Swagger, talk about, wow. That's OG.
Yeah, I mean, let us know how you feel on that matter. I mean, we still got another subject to move through, but I mean, I knew that that's one of the quitting things I wanted to talk about. No offense, they should fix the corruption in the government and the police before they think about that. I mean, here's the thing. I do agree with some, like the P, and others that have been talking about it. It's not down to the first thing that I said in like haste. I was like, oh, well, when they fix everything else, I'll worry about it. But we were already following 99% of it. And it's like, no, it is about the privacy. I think they're really focused on the children. Parents is really bad about putting their kids on here. And then when you do that, these guys are sitting around like this all day.
Well,
I mean, that's the nasty.
if I'm going to be honest with you guys, now keep in mind this is politics. So right now, for example, if you go look at Philippine news, if you Google Philippine news, you'll see the word graft a lot. And that means they caught somebody taking money from the government, grafting, corruption.
Oh my God! Speaking
Now,
of that,
here's the thing with
Alice Guyo up
I'm
here.
not just talking about the Philippines. This worldwide, and it's simple math. It's really, again, I'm not pro or anti, but I'm just telling you how it is. The thing is, there will always be corruption no matter who you vote for. The ones that they catch are the ones that are not on their party for the most part, if you pay attention. It's kind of like, that's why they usually clean house. When a new government comes in, they clean house because they want their own people to come in, and those new people are the ones that are going to do the corruption. Now, keep in mind, this is in every country, including America.
Now, I agree. There are multiple channels here in Angel City that have set up other Filipinos to make this money. But you know what? I bet you most of them, including if he did, and this is all true, did they all set themselves up with their TIN numbers? Because you're not born with the Social Security number here. Correct? Am I correct? You have to go in and apply if you're working, and there's all these things that you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
when you're working
you have two different numbers. You have your TIN number, which is your, that's a lot like your Social Security, and then you have your SSS number.
Right.
Now keep in mind too that if you don't pay your taxes as a Filipino, I'm talking about as a Filipino, because this is.
And there's local things too. There's just not one tax for Filipinos. They have to register at the local Bronx
right. Well,
level.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot like the U.S. And what I'm saying is, if you don't pay your taxes, you don't get the real benefits, aka
What's
you
going
don't get
on,
your
Violet?
retirement benefits or anything like that. So if a Filipino just doesn't pay taxes, they're not going to get anything back when they retire. Same thing in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest reason of enforcing taxes for those. And do they do it in the U.S.? Yes. I know all kinds of mechanic shops and all kinds of money laundering barber shops and other businesses in the U.S. Sure, that corruption goes around everywhere. Not your house, not your monkey. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Bloggers in the Philippines is so saturated. It has been. We've watched them. Like, I remember we were doing live streams. I could think of like 10 expats that were covering
them. It's not just the Philippines. It's worldwide.
It is. Now it's out of control.
It's an epidemic.
It is. That is true.
Or pandemic, as it were. No. Social media is saturated.
When we started 5 years ago, you were still recognized of, hey, that's interesting. What's really going on? How do you get started? What do I need to do? Now everybody is doing social media, and it's like, even that was just 5 years ago. And the pandemic really, people
put it on overdrive. Now, for example, again, no, joking aside,
Hi, good
only fans
morning.
are not making money anymore. Put it
Yeah,
that
no,
way.
some of the big ones are because there's just so much. And see, I was bitching about this 3 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, another vlogger here. Oh my God, they're repeating and they're stupid. Why bother? And George is like, pipe down, just let them do their thing and us do our thing. And then it just became more saturated and said, you know what? We're just going to keep doing us because at least we have some sort of originality.
Yeah, to put into perspective, for those of you who are not aware, I'm not talking about YouTube here. I'm talking about OnlyFans. And the reason why I'm bringing this up because the numbers are distinct. When OnlyFans first started, the girls made 50,000. Okay. Now, then they made 10,000. Now they're not making squat.
Yeah, I don't get the reference. Maybe he meant Bonnie and Clyde, that Bonnie and Claire joke. Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
Cool
no.
Hand Luke.
They're Cool Hand Luke. Huh.
Have you ever seen the movie Fiddler on the Roof?
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Have you ever seen Fiddler on the Roof?
Actually, no.
Weirdly, that's going to be our next movie. It just came up on Max. It's from 1971. I've heard people, the reference in.
Well, you're talking about the remake, not the 1971.
Oh, there was one before 71?
No. You're talking about the remake.
No, the 1971 is on Max right now.
Are you sure it's not the remake? It's the remake. The one
I just watched the preview last night. They showed the trailer, and it's 1971. It's the original. They posted a bunch of old movies on Max. Yeah, it's one matchmaker, match me, make match. Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you so much for the super chat sticker. Hello and good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, we got 1 of 10, guys. Thank you so much. Birthday month.
How come it didn't change?
What do you mean?
It's so slow.
It probably will here in a
some
minute.
lag,
It'll probably update, yeah. Or you might have to. Oh, yeah, don't.
Oh, there it is. Oh wait, no, it's not. Oh well, it's all right.
I will just keep a count on them and everything. Professor, how is Dice doing? Right?
LG.
Yes.
Hey LG, long time no
Hey
see,
LG,
man.
what's going on? Hey, the law doesn't really affect your channel much. The channel hardly, not anymore. The reason we did is one, George has been he does have a gaming channel. He's been visiting family and spending more time. And how's your uncle doing, by the way? I have to ask that, only you know the update as of yesterday.
He's okay.
Yeah, just kind of when I ask him questions like that, it's more for you guys to hear.
He's not 100%, but he's okay.
He's not been doing good. So, and then we were doing live streams all the time. But here's the thing. Honestly, the more vloggers that came out and the more people did live streams, we were like, a lot of the stuff we were originally doing was to help people get here after the pandemic, and a lot of couples, and we did a lot of one-on-one videos, and then everybody started doing it. And then it's like, yeah, it's kind of just got to a point where it was, where we like doing what we're doing. So, I think we have a good thing going here with the originality of him being a Filipino that lived 27 years in the U.S., born and raised here as a native Filipino, and with me being an American, and now I've almost been here 5 years, and I've traveled the world. And, I'm just going to shoot stuff right off the top of my hips until you guys bite me at the same time. You guys have seen it. I don't give a rat's ass shit. So with us both being in retirement age and, the experience we have, yeah, I still feel that we're the only channel out here doing constant live streams for 5 years. And that, there are other expats that there are Filipino, and
we were the first section.
Yeah, the ones that exist, like I only know 1 or 2 others, and the other ones aren't even they're younger. They're like at 40 and they've still got young kids. The other one in Makati has young kids and they're not even together anymore. And so it's kind of like, yeah, the fact that, and we've been doing them the longest. So it doesn't really affect us, except for here's the deal. I like to use the news clips or stuff off of other, like through Facebook to do reaction when we're telling a story. we're probably going to have to AI that crap now. Even using the photos down the road could be an actual issue. So we have to get a little bit more clarity and wait to see where the law goes, or we're just going to tell the story. I mean, if our entire life depended on it, we were making $300 a live stream or 400 or something, then I might be like, oh my God, we're desperately going to miss the money. But we're doing live streams pretty much because it's for the people.
I mean, it's an active live stream. We just don't do a live stream and just have the camera just pointing randomly somewhere and let it run.
Oh, that's another thing. I wonder what's going to happen to those live stream CCTVs. There's a guy right now that's a foreigner that's called Shawarma Man or something, and he seems to be from the Middle East. Not the one that we showed you. There's another one. He, every time he's on the street, has an active live going on him and the people that are approaching. And he's not getting permission.
Right.
And he's still doing it as of yesterday. And there's tons. I'd probably say there's thousands of channels, all CCTV from their Sorry stores. They're making money off it. Runs 24/7.
Well, thank you for
nighttime, daytime.
Bringing that up. A lot of people think that because it's the live, you're exempt from recorded rules. No, incorrect.
All
doesn't matter.
Devices.
Even if it's live, you're not allowed to record somebody who doesn't want to be recorded.
Yes, in these stores, it's crazy. There was one that I watched a few days in a row, and I was telling George, no, they never shut it down. Even people out there at 3 a.m. that might be doing something weird. Speaking of weird, I just seen one on Facebook that got recirculated. There was a guy sitting on a motorcycle, and his whole junk was out in his hand, and people kept reposting that here. And they were like, oh, look at this sicko, and he's an exhibitionist. The guy stopped in the middle of the street in Manila and was out there doing his thing with his parts out of his pants. And people reposted it, and it's been there on all these different people's channels. And I'm like, there it is. So, but this happens other places. So I'm kind of having 5 people on a motorcycle is a death sentence. Yeah, you'd be surprised. They load the e-trikes down too.
Unfortunately, it's common.
Yeah, and they tip over too. If they live in the slums, having tricycles is hard to put inside of your home. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, we have the e-trike now that I think is like 2.5 years old. That we have to get another cover for. This will be like the 4th cover because the son eats through it, the cats eat through it, and now it's a cat house.
The cats.
It's George's dog house / cat house.
Rip the cover.
Yeah. Do you see any that need to be answered right away? Because I'm going to go into another topic so we can get more comments. So we'll get through the comments. So let's talk about calling it quits in the Philippines. The other part that we wanted to talk about was Poppy's Bar and Chill that was talked about by Chubbs Dub C. Okay, and we do not have the full story. We just keep getting contacted with information.
Now, is it closed? When I went over there, there's nobody to talk to and nobody knows anything.
Also, the last vlog was 13 or 14 days ago, and somebody did one less than 2 days ago, and it was dark.
Yeah.
So it was the one on Walking Street showed that it was closed when a Filipino went over there. But as we're to understand, according to Chubbs, I didn't sit through his entire live stream, is he asked them that they needed to pay people and that he didn't know what happened to them. But it has been 2 years, December, exactly 2 years ago. Actually, that's when they made the announcement. It's almost been, I think, exactly 2 years that they've been open. And they did this whole big production in December. Okay, we're going to let you guys know I bought a bar and a restaurant and a hotel. They were bragging like, oh my God, we actually bought it. And somebody did say they're invested $3.3 million. And we didn't think that he did it on his own. This Drake guy is the one that appears to have money because on their channel, they show videos. Because Poppy has a channel, Far East Poppy. Eric, and his wife is Hispanic, but I believe has American citizenship. And we used to watch them and everything. When this came up, I'm like, they don't appear to be the ones that have any money. Like, they just didn't seem this way.
They have money, but not that kind of money.
Right. The other guy is the one with all the fancy house. And when we looked at the video, he's got like one of those massage chairs that are like 40,000 in his house, maybe 50. So he paid 1,000 for a massage chair.
It's a different level of money.
Right. So not many expats come here and buy a $1,000 chair like they have inside of, it's the exact ones in the mall. So those things can even be more money
Wait,
than
those
that.
are only 1,000 now?
Well, I thought I was just guesstimating.
They're about 4,000 on average.
Okay, so yeah, it's the one with the leg and the upper thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I thought they were.
I mean, we're next to China, so it's possible they're 1,000.
But the guys seems to be the one that's doing a lot of the backing. And when we've went twice, the place appeared to be empty, and that was just in. We met up with.
Well, a lot of people, but the people would be Bruce
Mhm.
and Scott. And
Right. So they're not always that busy. It seemed to be in February. They were doing a podcast with a bunch of other expats, which I was kind of odd for me that they were doing it because it seemed to be something new they were trying. They seemed at that point desperate to bring people in. They were trying to combine at that point their channel, which was a traveling channel, down to restaurant channel and the hotel. Initially, they were only doing rooms for like 800 pesos, which is what, less than 20 bucks. And they were doing all kinds of specials. I think it was a buy one, get one free. They were doing all these other things. But the point is we've talked about how these people are opening these bars. Like there's a bunch more bars that just closed and a bunch more just got reopened. And these guys are losing extensive amounts of money and they quit. Like as soon as the money starts going low or they get extorted or something else happens here, like any country, you're going to pay out the ying for different things. And you're talking, although what's his name's wife, Drake's wife, is a Filipino, for the most part, it was a couple expats running it. And I just think it was a bad idea. Let me know what you guys think about that. But they quit. They quit on their employees that are not being paid allegedly. And so it's something that's come up in topic. And let's see what else.
Be Free says the restaurant owner lives nearby.
You mean the one? So they said they bought that whole situation, not rented it. So are you talking about which one? Be Free?
Yeah.
I mean, they said their wording when they went to go open it is we outright bought it. But it seemed like if they bought that
remember,
building.
when you said restaurant, there's two restaurants.
Yeah, there's one
so
on.
Are you saying that both restaurants or just the.
So they were
there's
leasing
one on
it.
Walking Street and there's one on Perimeter Road, I believe.
That's got the hotel, yeah. That's got the Drake one. So, like I said, we had shots and photos and video, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to put it up. You guys can go take a look. It's probably better to reference, or we'll start doing links to their videos. How about that? That way, if we're talking about it, then if you guys are interested, we'll start adding the links so people can go see stuff for themselves would be the easiest way. Because you get a lot of people that'll talk about it in their live stream, or usually we put clips up. Well, start putting. I've had a lot of problems with extra phlegm this morning. Might be them bean burgers and junk this morning. A little thick this morning on that honey there, babe. Slow down on the Tahoe there, honey.
Be Free says the Drake Hotel is a rental.
Okay, so then that was them really exaggerating that they outright bought it. They said we bought a hotel and a restaurant.
People tend to say things that are not true. For example, they say, check out the house I bought, and then they didn't really buy it. It's an Airbnb, that kind of deal. So we really don't know.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. So opening a business here in the Philippines, or considering, which is on the other hand, would be, speaking of quitting, is a lot of people will get here and they don't bring enough income, enough residual income, enough savings. They don't have enough medical. They don't have all these things. And then they try to go and get a job. And when they don't have this money, they end up quitting their dream of retirement and being here, or vlogger, and then they have to go home. So they're quitting on their retirement because they don't have enough money. So then they decide, hey, I've got 100,000 in the bank. I've got 300,000 in the bank. Let's start a business,
Oh, they always do that.
And then they end up quitting later. A lot of these business with these expats don't last very long. Mingus Pupus.
It means they're all gung ho
You know, it's not quitting these fleas on my head. Ningus po?
Ningus Kugon.
Ningus kugo?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Grass sprouts, I guess. I guess it's the best word for it.
Hmm.
Because I guess it grows really fast and then dies. No. You'll see a lot of Filipino businesses. Again, I'm talking about Filipino businesses that they start a business and then
You say that?
they close down. You know what I'm saying? For example, a good example of that would be our neighbors literally opened up a sar store that's actually they
Hey,
spent money.
Salvatore.
They spent money. They welded. It's not a a ragtag sar store. It was legit. They built it, everything, and then next thing you know, it's gone. They gave up. They spent a lot of money.
Oh, and Filipinos do. That's crazy. Like I said, and they get like this fever. Like I said, if we open up that bacon and candle shop and baby oil shop, I guarantee somebody in this neighborhood's going to open up the exact
For example,
same
there
thing.
was a coffee shop on the corner, and
Oh
it's gone.
yeah, you talking about when they were hauling the whole building away?
Yeah. Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, that was a while back.
But
that was like 3 years ago.
Heidi did record.
Yeah, I was like, what
That's
happened?
That's a bubble tea shop. But there's another bubble tea shop on a different corner. That same thing. They only last a few months.
Here's the strange thing. We still have that bubble tea place up on the corner. It's still active, but I think the only reason it survives, because they don't have much business either,
that
is
eatery place on the corner. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into a sar store, and now I'm not even sure if it's still a sar store.
It's like, what is it today?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
I think the only reason why that tea shop is there is because they don't work it full time. Like they only come out and fix it. Like it's part of their house. So they just come out and fix it and then go back in the house. So they're not like solely relying possibly on the income, and it's not like consuming their entire day with a bunch of employees. And that's another thing. They hire a lot of employees here. What's the deal with 12 people doing bubble tea
well, like
when
I
there's
said, the reason,
like a small area?
The reason why is because they're scared that they're all going to call in. So they always have a backup.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Gio said, I think the Filipinos will be affected much more. Yes, I believe so. I believe that's the 90% situation, because they are the ones that are doing it, and they definitely, with them being Filipino, I have the right.
Minority, and that's a big misconception that.
And it's now being flipped that the foreigners are the problem.
Foreigners think that they're the big boys. I hate to tell you this, that's not how it works.
Yeah, George has been saying the biggest vloggers and the ones that need to register and do it are them. Just like in America, it wasn't really the foreigners.
And the one that the government's going after is the Filipinos.
I will be getting on 2 topics later about Diddy and the trial, and we're going to get on that Alligator Alley facility.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that.
You know what? Sadly, I started tilting into the Alligator Alley thing.
Okay, I'm gonna be blunt. That is the dumbest idea
Alligator
I've ever
Alcatraz.
Heard. There's a reason why that area is pretty much desolate. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, according to the president, supposedly that will make people self-deport, and I agree. If they are there illegal and they didn't have the proper stuff, not the ones that they're not supposed to be messing with, then maybe they will leave. Yeah. But that whole situation's a mess.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking bad against the current president, because even if it was Biden that brought this up, I would still say it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. It has nothing
it doesn't
to do,
matter which president
right.
is.
There's a reason why that area is desolate.
Well, like I said, I mean, part of me was like, oh my God, they said it was for criminals only. They're going to throw everybody in there. And then I'm like, well, the ones that don't have the proper documents, but they're grabbing everybody. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me, but I know that what an area to actually do it in.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't even make any sense why you would. It would cost more to build it there than anywhere else. And honestly, it's not going to.
That's what
it's not going to change
Grandpa.
anything. It's not going to change anything. What I'm saying is, if they built that facility in the heart of Orlando and in the middle of the swamp, which again is a horrible idea.
I think he's trying to scare people.
Right. It's going to cost the same. It's not going to change the security. Everything's going to be the same. The only difference is you're going to spend millions trying to build a structure where a structure shouldn't be. It just doesn't make sense.
No, pretty much so. DJ Joe, yeah. Just logging in, reading the live title. Seems the owner of Poppy's Bar and Chill and Drake Hotel also called it quits. Yeah, we were just getting to that because that was probably as we were talking about. Yeah, most definitely. That we had an ideal about I wanted to put multiple things to calling it quits. Mostly Poppy's Bar, the vloggers. There's been a few times that we almost called it quits, like literally. I mean, it's marriage and it's literally the YouTubing. How many times in the last 2 years have we said, you know what, let's just go ahead and just quit the channel, or let's totally move on to doing some traveling? We did. There were several times. As a matter of fact, if you guys remember, in October, November, and then the year before, we took some time off. We took the last 2 months off like 2 years ago. And then last year at that time, I'm like, hey, listen, George is, sleeping. He's working. He's with the family more. I'm taking time and I've been doing more things and stuff with the animals and more time outside. And I'm like, you know what? We'll be slowing down. You'll probably see a lot of me. Yeah, and then we was like, you know what? We should just quit the YouTube channel.
I have expats that tell me, George, I should have listened to you when you said don't.
Other vloggers, yeah, it causes problems. And so we just wanted to talk about an overall.
And guys, remember, for example, me and Heidi, when you see us out and about and recording, it doesn't matter whether it's us, Kulas, or even Chubbs. Hey, Chubbs. You're missing out. You're missing out experiencing the moment because you're too busy recording it for other people. You understand where I'm getting at? You're not enjoying yourself because you're too busy trying to get the right angle. You're too busy recording everything.
And then we were editing.
You're missing out most of your life because you're trying to record it.
Every time we went out, even though you guys didn't see the footage, we always had a camera. He did, or I did, or both.
There's always footages that you guys never see. There's tons of it, actually. But point being is, don't do it. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, Salvatore, I don't know what you said something probably almost an hour ago. You may not even be in here. Wanted to ask you a question about a topic a few years now that you guys seriously addressed. So I'm not sure what it is. Maybe you see something further down, because that was at 9:47. I'm not all the way down there. You don't see anything else? Yeah, so I'm not sure what that is. Lake Tahoe, does it have a sago and boba? Oh, Lake Tahoe. Tahoe, yeah.
Tahoe.
Yeah, it actually.
Yeah, it's boba and soy.
Yeah, the soy is not so bad, but even soy for me being menopausal and with my lupus, soy can be a problem. And then the 3 or 4 other medical conditions.
Sago and boba are the same thing, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Sago, yeah.
Yeah, Gio said it will also hurt businesses. Yeah, for example, I like going to restaurants and eating. Yeah, vlogging it gave it advertisement. That's another thing. We have asked, but I noticed that when we've asked lately, people have said no. The last 2, 3 restaurants we went to, they said we would appreciate you not, and you definitely can't do.
We do ask for permission.
But see, here's the thing: 5 years ago, people were giving us free food in Florida, correct, and everything. Please advertise us. Oh my God, you're YouTubers and TikTokers, and yeah, we used 5 years ago. There was a form of a clout.
Well, back
now
then,
it's like, oh my God, it's another
YouTubers because they didn't experience the bad YouTubers yet.
Yeah, bad stuff.
Because now you have YouTubers that are entitled that they think they should get free stuff.
Well, that or just
we never asked for anything.
That or it's hard to get the stuff to add. Like you got to beg practically for like, let's say we want to promote a product or something. Now that was part of the YouTube thing that they were talking about, was that companies like the phone companies, there was only so many people they could have used, and now there's thousands lined up to do sponsorship and stuff. So now you're practically begging and putting in full resumes just to do sponsors for companies that really need you to put that out because it's oversaturated.
Yeah, back then it was opposite, right?
Yeah. I have no idea. So there's Salvador saying, whatever happened to Dan Glazier? Never heard of Dan Glazier at all. Never heard of that. He was an American man that offed his girlfriend. Yeah, I'm not going to put that up. It can be in the comments, but yeah, never heard of him. We've been here 5 years and I don't know. Now there were a few. There was a guy that put his wife in a barrel and because he ran off with his girlfriend. That was an American. And there was that couple that was all over social media forever that something similar happened. but I thought he was British. So, oh yeah, because of his, yeah, but it's okay if that's what he wants to eat. Me and George have an understanding, because we have an understanding on that. But now I have no choice. I know you guys have seen me like 3 times say, hey, I'm cleaning up my diet, but my health is in like serious issues right now. And being as I have 3 or 4 medical conditions, you know, I'm supposed to be high protein in this because of gastric bypass, and I'm regaining back most of the weight. Then I'm anemic. Then I'm B12 deficient. Then I have lupus. And there's so many medical conditions, that I have to eat healthy, but I've just chose to eat, you know, been eating fast food, been eating, and I just have to stop because it's making me hurt. He is supporting me. I can't stop him if he drinks the sugary drinks, and like he brought that into me and I had to explain it. And it's for me to look out after my diet. Like George said, ain't nobody, you know, in other words, only you can look out after you. You
Well,
can't really,
and I'm
you
not
know.
a dick about it. I mean, I'm not like.
No, I think he thought the soy, because he knows I like soy, which it wouldn't be so bad if the syrup, you know, and then he knows that like
Butter.
the cake is made. The best way to explain it is it's a natural sugar from fruit. It's like stevia. So anything you see here is sugar free. I do dairies. That is not full fat dairy. I do a 50-50, but no,
Well, it's
he
for
does support me.
example, I brought her chicken joy, and she said she couldn't eat chicken because
Oh, fried chicken. One piece of Jollibees has 2 days worth of salt, and then it's fried. They fry it in vegetable
right.
oil.
See,
It's
that's what I
my
mean.
lupus. I
It's
can't
not
have
that
vegetable
because
oil.
I'm unsupportive or a dick about it. It's just things that
He figured it wasn't a fast food burger or.
Well, I thought it was protein. It was not, carbs or anything
Yeah.
like
I mean, it
that.
wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't all the sodium, and I didn't know it either because in the past I would eat 2 chickens, their garlic rice with an egg or something in the morning, and it was more salt, and couldn't figure out why with my kidney issues why I'm blowing up. And so literally I don't want to take 3 water pills a day situation. So I'm over a certain age, plus
It's kind
I'm
of like
overweight.
little
So
things that a lot of people don't think about. For example, garlic and onions are not good for Heidi. It's
the lupus,
little
the
things
garlic
that
thing.
most people will overlook. Same
But
thing.
I've been
I overlook
eating it.
things
That's
too.
the problem, is I have, but
Right, that's another
my
thing
health
too.
is getting, it is getting worse.
I don't know where the balance is, if that makes any sense. I'm still trying to.
I have to cut it all off because I'm tired of crying at night when my body is totally a wreck, or by the time 12 o'clock hits, I can barely keep my eyes open. Like, well, it's 10:30. So I just fight with too many different things. But I know when we were eating the fast food or getting the pizza, or I'd eat the 2 donuts on air or the 1 donut, I just was a wreck. But that's, I mean, my normal eating, I don't sit around eating that all day. It was part of my other diet, so all of it together was just a wreck. So now I have to go back to where I was a couple years ago. CCTV, why can
They can't. Technically,
not
they
US?
can't. What it is, it's once they post it, they can. The people on the CCTV.
I don't think they're allowed to do it in the US when they run the live.
Yeah, they can
cameras in
request
the
to take
US,
it
they
down
just
and
do it.
everything else. Yeah, I mean,
You can have it for your own content, but even in the US, yes, they're running them in. Them people inside of their own businesses, or like that kid with the 7-Eleven. He ran a camera inside a 7-Eleven constantly with people. That was a violation of anybody that walked in. He didn't get permission from all those people. And he ran it all the time, and there were businesses, and people are like, oh, well, I have the right. It's a private property. No, you don't. They still don't have the right either. All these live streams that are going, that have these live people walking in and out. I know sometimes they get permission, like when the guy comes up and he sings for them or they perform. Yeah, that's sometimes. But what about every single person that goes in there all day? Maybe he has a sign, but even if they do, the government may have a problem with that individual act. So, okay, so everybody knows you're recording, but there could be kids off in the background, all kinds of things.
well, you have to remember, he's not. It's him. It's not 7-Eleven, and that's an issue on its own.
Mm.
He's doing something that
Yeah,
goes
I've
against
seen
company
that.
guidelines.
That was crazy. Did you see that? The video of the guy that he picked up that foreign kid and slammed him?
No.
I believe the kid was either from Iran, or it's dealing with those wars going on or whatever. It was one person from the other country. The guy, I believe, was Ukrainian possibly, and I don't remember which, Russian or Ukrainian, and he picked that little kid up and he slammed him in the airport. He just ran up on the kid and body slammed him in and put him into a coma. He just did it because he said he was angry, and I guess they said he was on something on top of that. So he was out of his mind, but I guess he was mad at the other country or something, but it was crazy. Yeah, that happened a week ago, maybe 10 days ago. I'm off. Hey, Sarah. Good morning.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, sweetie. Hey. Well, at least it promotes travel. I'd be heading to Thailand. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, there are laws there too. That's just it. You're right. Hey, what's going on, AI coconut guy? Why can they and not US? Yeah, I think that was a repeat. There is no expectations of privacy in public in the USA. It goes through the nation proving. Well, I think that's the same here. That I just think that between the vloggers, feeling they have the right to, and then Filipinos feeling they have the right to, they're going to put it into place. This person just said, yeah, you can in the U.S. The laws are so, there's a law on top of a law on top of a law. I just don't think there's been any catch up on all the vlogging out in public, or who's going to enforce it, or they don't have anybody. I don't think there's enough people here to start to enforce that. I think, what's his name was saying there are 100 and something employees at the NPC or what. I still don't think that's going to be enough. And they're going to go through every platform, figure out who it is, file a case against them, get 100,000, figure who's in all their videos, and start breaking it down. And I really think it's going to have to start with the individual. They're going to have to say, hey, I'm in that video, and then file a report like all the other stuff here.
Well, and like I said,
and who ends up in court, and who's going to...
They're going to go after the ones that are exploitative. You know what I'm saying? The ones that exploit, do videos, for example, poverty, corn, that kind of deal. Yeah.
That's another thing. How many of them are using VPNs to be on things they're not supposed to? Realize that the Philippines has laws about Filipino, male or female, being on these sites. You're not supposed to do anything that exposes any parts, and they're half in bikinis and things up the crack of their butt and all that, and that kind of verges into the exploitation of themselves and being on fans only and all these other sites, and putting their personal stuff on there that's super sexual. The Philippines has laws on that too, and they're using VPNs to upload this stuff from here. Am I right? Am I right? You're not allowed to be on any of those sites. You're not allowed to put any of that. Filipinos are not allowed to be like uploading to these sites, but they do. So where are they going to start enforcing all the stuff that is online, making money, and who's paying taxes? They're doing that, and they're not paying taxes at all. So it's kind of, I don't even know where it's going to. Yeah, I don't know what's the Nightcrawler. Reminds me of
Gyllenhaal. What do you call it?
Oh, Nightcrawler.
Brokeback Mountain, Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reporters
Gyllenhaal,
getting dibs on gory footage. Yeah.
Like a spot says, we will give 10 yellow super chats if George shows the carpet matching the drapes. There you go.
I guarantee.
That's at George OnlyFans.
I guarantee at George being over 50, it does. I don't know what's going on with me. My business looks like a bald monkey right now.
I'm uncle, apparently. So.
I've got a lot of hair on top, and it's dark. It matches the drapes. But George, I'm telling you, that's exactly what it freaking looks like. Right?
Are you saying?
Here, let me take a look.
Are you saying I look like a dick?
Let me take another. No, we were talking about the hair is that thick. George ain't even trying to do that manscape thing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I could still picture when we met, and I would say if it goes up the nose, that's a no-go.
I need probably like a brown polo shirt and like brown tight shorts.
For what? Like a tennis player?
No, Reno 911.
Who knows? Journey with trials. What will happen to creeps like Q's Adventure and regular creep? I don't know. I know that they're solely relying on that, but I know that regular guy has an excellent storytelling, and he can just do live streams and bring in thousands of views. So, and he slowed down anyways.
He's better off staying indoors anyway. I think he got better numbers.
He did. And also he does tend to do like where he was doing the bike travels. And if, like I've seen this guy that had 4 million subscribers, he's only slightly blurring out people in the background. So you can still kind of tell where he is. And if you're a fan like us, we don't think that people are coming in just to see what's going on out and about. They're trying to see if we're going to fight or what we're going to talk about or the crazy crap we're going to do versus the scenery. Who knows? These people that are doing that may have to apply for permits and make sure they are licensed and all these other things to make sure they're allowed to do what they do and that they're registered. And that's where it'll be. Q's Adventure is just pushing the envelope. I'm going to tell you that right now. Allegedly, according to his stuff, he had somebody recently come in and now he's got the word, what is that? He's a tourist guide. It's got the word tourist guide in one of his videos that he's a tourist guide now. And he's running Airbnb, rentals, everything else out of his own house and other places. He's doing everything. So I ain't believing he's all licensed up for anything. So what's going to happen to him? He's going to have to do individual and get permission from everybody. But I'm not going to make that my business. Like 3-4 years ago, I was like, oh my God, look at so-and-so and so-and-so. It used to drive me crazy when tons of these vloggers showed up and then they were copycatting. And then like George says, slow down, don't worry, slow your roll. Because we used to have some original content and then people started copying and then people were copying other people and then tons of them came in and I can't even begin to tell you, but we shall see where this all goes. Oh yeah, welcome back, Carter, babe. Welcome back. I guess you did. You look like you look like a pimp.
That's the show, the radio show, right?
That's where John Travolta was a young student in the school. They were all in school. It was a high school show pretty much, but they just all look like adults. So.
Oh, no. I was thinking of WKRP.
Oh, WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's wrong show,
Yeah. That is true. If you're making content, you're working in the country, yes. And when they're uploading or they're doing live streams and all of that, yes. Yeah. Whatever happened? Am I missing something? Did I trickle back or is these repeats?
No.
Okay, so that was just doubled in there. Okay, this guy's saying you can film anywhere in public. He bet 500 on that. Yeah, so yeah, totally something different where you can upload it, how you can upload it, and whether or not something can happen. But we are not the law. That we've always said this is a group conversation. You cannot rely on us for legal stuff. We've been saying it. We used to have a big thing on it.
That's old school.
Oh, where they used to take film out of people's cameras?
Yeah, what it is. Okay, yeah, no, they did. But now, I guess because of digital media, it's too much to go through.
Well, that's
back then it was rare, and when you did, it's just a reel. Now they can't go through a little memory card.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's hours and hours of footage. So yeah, no, that was a way back when. Yes.
Well, I believe there was a suggestion on our Philippine journey from one of his people that said something about, and I don't have exact, it's not in front of me, somewhere about checking with people if they're vloggers when they come in, charging a percentage tax, knowing that they're going to be vlogging while they're here, which I don't know how they're going to do a temporary thing on people as they enter and go, or that they need something special when they enter. And I'm like, no, it's just not expats. It's Filipinos.
Vlogs.
And I'm telling you what, most anybody who gets off the planes, Filipino, wherever they're out in the world, they're vlogging and they upload somewhere. I could almost bet 9 out of 10 people put it on some platform.
I mean, put it this way.
Even if it's for personal, they're still redoing it, and people are giving stickers. They're like, "Oh, subscribe for my channel and give me stickers."
If you have a TikTok,
that's still getting
and you
money.
post, what I'm saying, that technically makes you a vlogger. Point being is everybody.
It's
vlogs.
become yeah, because those are like, well, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't know why the hell people are putting
It's
it on
not
just YouTubers.
YouTube, it's social media.
Facebook is the biggest
Facebook is
offender, and it's
social
like, well, it's just
media.
my house, and
Instagram
it's
is
this, and it's
social
not
media.
always. When you guys go up to the
Right,
sorry
I don't
store,
understand
them are
this
not
hang up
your
with
people.
YouTube. No, if you're on Twitch, you're
Yeah.
well, then you're a streamer. You're not a vlogger. But yeah, point being is you're on social media. No, it spans everything. So.
No expectations of privacy in public. Yeah, in Australia. Okay, when they say no expectations, am I missing something? In other words, they don't care there?
Well,
Correct? No
it means-
expectations.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony.
Tony?
Well, no, that's Tony Campbell. Somebody, Tony. Yeah, Tony. Another Tony. 90s. Yeah, they used to do that a long time ago. They did that in a lot of countries.
Yeah, they go through it.
Yeah, the thing about that is the other Asian countries technically have some sort of privacy law. And I think, as I've said the whole time, everybody's missing the point of really people need to give privacy to the younger kids, to the women that have these cameras. It's really bad here in Angel City. And here's another thing that I haven't talked about, and I don't hear a lot of them talking about. This slum vlogging is getting really bad. And the police officers wear cameras, and they're uploading that footage too. We noticed 2 or 3 of them that are in Manila and Tondo. They're cops. The guys stop and talk to them, and you can hear the radios. So they're making money as they're out on the job, and they're doing double, and they're uploading and putting their own people. So it's not only expats that are exposing, but it is Filipinos that are exposing their own people. Oh my God, these foreigners come here and they make us look bad and this and that, and they're the first ones. And so they're trying to, they want to stop that too, because these people don't want to be on camera like that either. So I think a lot of them are making money. And I think a lot of these, like they said, if Overstay Road's doing it, and there's a couple of them here in Angel City that set up a bunch of these Filipinas with these bigger channels now, and they're doing the same thing. They're just, I don't know. That we shall see how this all goes. Yeah, Philippine Preference says the laws in the Philippines are, you know, oh, it does that. The laws in the Philippines are to protect Filipinos, not foreigners. I beg to differ. I think they are also meant to protect us. It's to protect the people in general. I don't think they're.
Well, yeah, no. That's I don't agree with you on that one.
The laws are to protect the people made by Filipinos. They follow a lot of the American stuff. I mean, the laws are close to the same. That's how we know a lot of these are applying around the world.
Like I said, most of the time they do actually go after.
People are just in denial and just want to do whatever they want.
More than they go with foreigners. So that alone goes against with what you're saying.
Because think about it, everything that goes on here, you should be doing there. So if a Filipino leaves here and goes to the U.S. and they're vlogging and they're making $800,000-$900,000 a month, at that point you have to do all the stuff that you would be doing here. And if they're over there for 6 months, they need to do that. They need to do the independent contractor thing. They need to make sure that they're paying taxes and filing.
Again, put it this way: if a Filipino did everything what Vitali did,
you better sit down somewhere.
He would have been in trouble, and the cops would have gone after him the first day.
Hey there, good morning.
My point being is they will go after Filipinos more than they will go after foreigners. It just seems that way, that they go after foreigners more because you're a foreigner, so you only identify with the foreigners. You don't see what they do to the Filipinos. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if a foreigner goes to jail, they actually get special treatment for the most part.
Yes.
So you really can't say that, because again, you only see that because you're a foreigner, so you only identify foreigners that get in trouble, but you don't see the Filipinos. They're background noise to you.
That, and I think a lot of people haven't even been here, or they only come in here a short period. I used to think when I was here the first year or two that I had everything together.
No, if that
you
was,
have to be
if
here
Vitaly
for
was
years
Filipino,
before you start really
first day,
seeing.
done. He's done. He's cooked. First day.
Imagine if Anthony Bourdain was not allowed to film in public. Yeah, I love to show. Yeah, no, he went all over. And who's that other guy that we like?
Sonny.
Sonny. So here's the deal. I don't think they're applying for commercial permits when they enter the country. He enters.
No, I know he does.
He does.
I know Sonny does
because they're a big production.
Sonny doesn't do it himself.
Oh, he has a film crew. Okay.
Ahead of him, they go ahead of no. I know
so
Sonny does.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Anthony Bourdain does too. Now the
so
other
that
ones,
gives them. But here's the
for
thing.
example, Mark Weems. Same. So I don't know if Mark Weems does, but I'm 100% positive.
Okay.
Because Sonny
even
has
if they do.
a big giant crew.
All right. So I mean, I got that on that. So even if he does, it doesn't give him the privacy right to leave all those people in the background.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. The Philippine government doesn't care about that because that's not what it's about. That's what That's what we're saying. What we've been trying to say. It's not about that. Now, if Sonny goes into the slums and starts recording, underage girls,
correct,
then yes, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not what he does.
Here's another thing. They are still drawing more of this information up right now. It's not in full. They're adding stuff to this because they may find a problem with that anyways. It's how, when, and what they're going to enforce. And yeah, it's kind of, they're saying on walking street, signs still hanging using, all posters taken down, the hotel still closed.
Yeah. They're still there. It's still there, yes. In fact, you can still book a room if you want to.
Well, yeah, I don't think they can stop the CCTVs though. I mean, we have one, and so it's, currently it's on a couple-day loop.
Yeah, but we're not broadcasting it though, unlike other people.
We have 1 or 2 times because we've seen other people doing it.
You can't see the faces.
No, you can't. One was at Christmas time. We were trying to show you guys,
blurred, which is the requirements in the first place.
Yeah, so we have, but we don't do it where the people are walking up to a sorry story.
You can't identify them.
We have them walking by during the holiday time, but we have had other people. But here's the thing: moving forward, we're going to follow the law. So, and we have up the things. If people in those videos want us to remove, then we will go ahead and do it.
And we've always said that. Yeah.
So we have the required mandate.
We've taken down. We have requests.
Because it's going to change all that. Those kids that used to come up to our house, we had them on camera when we did the pizza thing. But see, now, according to the law, we wouldn't be able to do that. And we will not do it from here out.
Yeah, they still, again, like I said, chase after the car and hang on the car, which I hate because they do it while the car's moving. And oh my gosh, I said, please get off. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah, there was Be Free talking about that. Yeah, the hotel and restaurant were rentals. Okay, yeah. They lost a lot of money, and the fact they haven't paid any employees means they were broke. They're on the run, so I'm assuming they won't come back to the Philippines. Have they left, or they don't know?
Yeah, we don't know. His channel went silent.
Shit, they went there about Periscope. That was my very first social media, was Periscope. Convenience store cams had thousands of views on Periscope. Is Periscope even still open? That was the original. Okay.
No.
Total breach. And they do that now. They're all over YouTube.
Yeah, remember Vine?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vine. Vine was the first TikTok. Well, actually, TikTok was
snap.
Musically.
According to Professor, it says they bailed on the electric bill, too. So that means they were hurting. If somebody bails, that's bad.
Well, they didn't pay the
employees, but what I'm saying is that means they were dry.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we said at the beginning that this is all this is a conversation.
Although like I said, the channel's on dead silence. It's like dead. So
it's been for a few months,
that kind of tells you there was there were problems.
You better get your crap together and get yourself a license there, Mr. Coconut Man. Oh my God, I was trying to figure out the other day, like
Hey, JR.
Hey, JR, we've been, I was trying to figure on like doing my cooking, like I'm making cream cheese, I'm making cottage cheese, I'm making soft cheese, I'm making like all kinds of stuff. Everything's from scratch now, right? I was like, I asked AI, I call him Al. I was like, how am I going to make my own refined coconut oil? He says, I don't think you want to make that at home.
Oh, he says that?
Yes, because he went through and he was talking about the process and how it's pressed. And all. I said, you're right. Because I said, like, I got a jar the other day, can't find the refined stuff. And when I did, it was like $12. I said, no, I'm just going to have George go pick up some coconuts and I'm just going to figure how to make it myself. And then I'm like, yeah, no,
some
I'll just
things are not worth it. Oh, speaking of which, guys,
Well,
if you get taho, you better drink or eat it right away. Because guess what? The reason why is the soy turns into tofu.
Let me see.
So right now, that's nasty. That's nasty. Don't even.
Do you know why? Because you sucked all the syrup out of there.
That's
it's
partially,
still soft, but it's drying up. Yes, because
it's turning into tofu. Right?
Yeah, because you sucked out all the sweet stuff out of there, like me on you this morning. Then it was just no good, and there it lay. Then what? Then it was just old tofu.
There you go.
His girlfriend. I enjoy the rain because it cools it down here, but I don't need it for a whole damn day, right? That is the truth. It's been nothing but raining. Poor cats that live outside and poor Willie. When I go to feed him in the morning at night, we do it twice a day feeding. They're all there on the porch. And I'm like, oh, I have something to tell you. I couldn't believe it. Guess who was breastfeeding the other day? Their kids.
Asia?
No, the 6-month boys were feeding on their mother last night. Yeah.
They were all.
Yes.
Yeah, they were all out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the boys are breastfeeding on their mother, and they're 5 months now or something, but they're way too big to be doing it. And it's like they're eating cat food. The boys are coming in and out of the house, and they were laying out in the sun, and they're out there nursing on their mother. And I'm like, dang it, why do you guys are doing so?
Yeah, Ningas Kugon. There it is. Grass burns brightly but fast. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I would never do it, and don't expect to get a job here. It's really hard
in this area, let alone anywhere.
The Philippines is one of those Asian countries.
And honestly, you're not really gonna make a profit. I'm just telling you right now.
You have to do it for fun. Like I said, if I do this candle and bacon shop or whatever, I'm literally gonna have to probably make just the money back, because it's just not. I have to do it out of sheer boredom, and I think the guys like them.
It's like YouTube. You don't do YouTube because you're gonna make money.
You've got to love it to begin with, and like I said, the profits go right back into the cat.
Especially nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And it goes into George's account. I technically do not get a paycheck. So, and then he just buys the cat food and does other things.
Yeah, YouTube is
outings.
money. Just saying.
Pretty much. So it's like you can't do it with any expectation. I do it just to talk shit about people. I'd do that for free. 12 workers, but maybe one day to help the long line of customers, which is why we get so upset. Yeah, there's like 12 of them, and then you still don't get,
Well, for example, I was in Hypermart, SM Hypermart, and there was only one register that was open, and we were standing there forever because there's only one line, and then all of a sudden this lady, Filipino lady, pulled out coupons.
Oh no, yeah, the coupon lady.
And
I don't even
guess
know where
what?
she got them.
Filipinos don't do coupons, but somehow this lady had legitimate coupons, and the cashier wasn't like
seized up.
So we were there forever waiting for this girl take care of this lady with the coupons, and guess what? They didn't open a second register.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We've seen him take a break and go to breaks, and George says, "Yeah, they'll be back in 10 minutes." I was like, "We're just
Yeah,
supposed
no,
to
no, no.
stand
This
here?"
happens a lot. Yeah, I tell Heidi.
And he said,
I won't be
"Yes."
back for an hour. They went on break, so.
Are there ice cream trucks or jeepneys driving on the street selling ice cream? I don't know if jeepney drivers are outright selling ice cream, but they have, like, there's another one that rides by on a bike that sells
Yeah,
ice
there's
cream.
ice cream carts, ice cream motorcycles, ice cream.
Little.
Have I seen an ice cream truck? Yes, but I don't think they make money because, I mean, if they drive a truck, they spend more on gas.
Yeah. Tony says illegal is illegal, deport. That's where I agree. The facility being built, I believe the president is trying to scare people, but he said it was only supposed to be for the criminals. But we know that's not what's going to go in there. But the fact this is all out on every news station, if you're illegal in the U.S. and you don't have the right to be there and you came in, even if the last president said, and he said he's cleaning up the mess, if I know that I'm illegal here and they say, "Hey, Heidi, I'm going to give you a plane ticket back home and you're going to avoid coconut snake Alcatraz here, and you're going to be sitting on this, and that with like 20, 30 people. Yes, sir, I'll take that plane ticket and I'm going home." That's just the way it would be. If I know I wasn't following the immigration rules, it's just where it is. And I talked about the last time about people's rights, and there should be where people should be able to go everywhere. But I didn't actually mean that there should be a country without borders. You should be following those rules. I think everybody should be able to go where they want if they don't have criminal and all these bad things going on. But in general, yes, you have to follow the rules. So whether he built alligator Alcatraz, whether it's going to sink into a swamp or get flooded out the first, hurricane that comes through.
And again, there's nothing wrong with him building a facility.
And it is air conditioned.
It's just not a good area.
There's no air condition here.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and
just not a good area to build. And that's.
I think it's a little rough for the taxpayers' money and all this stuff.
Can they build there?
Yeah, illegal is illegal.
But it's not worth
snake oil and coconut oil.
Correct.
It's like we got that 70s show going on today. He had his regular like afro that he wore the last time. I said, "No, put on the black wig of mine." I said, "It'll give you, it'll be more realistic on it, bouncing around." Down. Soul Glow. Oh, Soul Glow from Get Your Soul Glow. Soul Glow. Say Soul Glow.
So
He's George has a Jerry curl just on Jesus Saturday. Say that 10 times in a row. Say it.
No.
What did I just say?
George has a jerk curl on
Jesus,
Saturday.
on Jesus Saturday.
On Jesus Saturday.
Yeah. Angie Disco. I'm kind of liking you there. I think you should keep that on for afternoon nookie. Yeah, get some afternoon birthday nookie when we're done here.
Well, there's the Disco Brothers.
Disco Brother. Disco.
Yeah, that's Ben Stiller, Mystery Man.
Oh, yeah.
Disco Brothers.
Yeah, it's already built and open, but I don't know how that thing came up. Like, they already opened the place. They were bringing people in today. So they just talked about it, and then all of a sudden it popped up. They put that together quick. That was kind of... But honestly, there's some things I agree about countries that they do wrong and right, and presidents do wrong and right. They have their good and their bad. On this one, I have to say, if you guys aren't supposed to be there, they don't need to be rounding up kids and this and that. But there's that whole thing of talking about if their parents snuck through the border. Oh, by the way, they said they're putting a bunch more money into the border too to close it off. But didn't they break through all of that anyways during all of this? Didn't they go through all the different holes of his wall during all of this? They did. So my whole thing is if they already know they're not here, doesn't matter what country or whatever's going on.
Well,
it's like any country.
The wall thing, again, I'm not trying to be political. You have to remember
other countries wouldn't tolerate it.
There's a break between his government and the other president's government. And when the other president came in, he cut off funding for that project.
No, well, the whole thing is the Philippines wouldn't deal with it, although there are a lot of people coming on coconut boats from other places. But most countries try to keep them out, and they would do the same. So there's some things I would agree and disagree. That's a great point, George, and that's one of the many reasons I closed the channel. I first went once a week video to enjoy the travel, more or less editing to do on the road. Yeah, we were editing and recording.
Yeah, talking about enjoying the moment. Enjoy the moment. You're retired. You're here to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, we
You're
were
not going to
always
enjoy
breaking
life
it out.
if you're running YouTube
And
or any other.
And it got pretty
platform.
tense for us because it was like when we went to go out, like in Mexico, when we first started vlogging, we got all the equipment, got a backpack full of stuff and batteries, and it was like it took us what, a half hour to get it together, to get out the door with the drone, and we used to take everything, and we were like all up in it. And then it was like after I realized that everybody else is doing it, and to me it diminished. It'd be like if 1,000 people wrote a book in one day on cooking steak, and you spent all that expensive money on equipment and a blue tile that made your show look good and all that, and then 1,000 other people came out with something. And I get the competition thing, but the competition is beyond all that. And it was like we were partially knocking ourselves out in the beginning on content, and then we'd spend the other half of the day editing. Both of us were editing, and it's like, yeah, no, we're not turning this into it was
reminding me of Julia Child.
No.
Did you know she invented bear repellent?
It's probably the original deodorant she had to keep her husband off, like I do you. I gotta have George repellent under my arms.
So weird. And did you know that she has like
her whole story? I forgot where it's got. I think Netflix or something has a new one.
She's a secret agent.
Yes, she was part of that task that was in France.
She was OSS. Yes.
Right. So
she was a secret agent.
And she didn't take payments. Like for the first 5 years, she got no payment. She actually funded the show that put her on. And I'm like, when I first seen Julia Childs and seen the story, I was like, well, who would watch this woman in the beginning? But a lot of people, a lot of people don't realize her background and how she was original. See, if you were doing something back then, we come from a time frame, like the new generation doesn't understand. They want it handed. But Julia Child was a pioneer. And how many cooking shows were out there? If Julia Child had 50 other cooking shows that popped up behind her, you really think she would have done all of that?
Right.
It's kind of like, but anyways, I agree, focus on Asia, that you have to on the moment. And there is no amount of money and time, and you have to do it because you enjoy it. That's where I'm at. I was telling people that if George isn't here, I'm still going to do something because I like to interact with people and I like to be able to help. I like to have fun. I like to pick on George. I like to pick on other people. It's just where it is. But if you don't have the day that enjoyment is kicked out of you, which in the last 2 years, it's getting there, that it's just like we've been spending more time. I've been doing more home cooking instead of doing a live stream and then ordering fast food because we got busy for the day because we did do the live stream. You just have to find a good balance. But I think this law and the up and coming thing of enforcement of the taxes and who's going to be licensed, I think they're really going to crunch down on who's doing it and figure a better way. Or they got to cut back up off of it and turn everybody loose all over again. But I doubt they go the other way. I bet it gets harsher before it gets where they say, hey, it doesn't matter anymore. So, and then they got to have the employees to enforce it. It's like that Zac Efron meme. Right. Yeah, at that point, it's just not worth it anymore.
And go to point with the amount of views I was getting. It wasn't worth it. No, it wasn't.
It's a pay to play now. So now most of them that you're seeing, they're making some money, but they're farming. They're bringing in the views from paying other Chinese companies to watch their stuff. Now, as of about 3 years ago, YouTube puts advertisement and wants you to advertise everything. So you are buying the views, but you're talking.
Wasn't Q farming?
There's a lot of them. When somebody gets 400 views in their room and there's only 10 people.
He was like videotaping himself and he was farming himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Allegedly.
But I know that you have to pay 3-4 times as much for Google advertisement than you're going to make. So it doesn't make any sense to pay them just to promote your channel just so you can be narcissistic and say, hey, look at me, I've made 70,000 views. And then you have to keep up. Like some of the vloggers are paying to keep up their same numbers. I'm like, I don't even know why or how they do it. But it's just no, the money really isn't there, and it's getting even less. Even the big vloggers have noticed it went in half two years ago, and now it's down to a quarter.
Even
and
the big vloggers are
and they're
changing their
paying
strategies.
production. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just
The money's going down. Yes, fact. It's not even an if.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, Thera said I uploaded for my memories. Don't need the income.
No,
this
see,
is true.
That's what it was originally for.
But remember, if that's on your property, but a lot of the Filipinos here, it's for their memories, but they're walking through a mall and everybody's on the camera, little kids at Jollibee. And so they're bringing other people still into their memories, which is what the Philippine government is saying. It's privacy of people is what they're trying to enforce, not, all the other stuff.
Well, speaking of privacy, there are vloggers out there that grab a camera and stick it in where they don't belong. Literally, like, because your camera's on a stick, it doesn't mean you can stick it over somebody's fence.
That's
there
true.
are vloggers that do this.
Well, here's another thing to think about, Thera. You may have family members that could turn on you here, or in the U.S. I know I've already been told by 3 of my family members initially. Remember, we had to take videos down of family members. So you may run into, if you're at a picnic with your family and you're uploading like, hey, I'm on family property and all that and blah, blah, you got 30, 40 people there. You really think they all want to be on your YouTube channel?
No, it's possible, yes.
So I really would almost, I agree with you, but, Filipinos fight just like everybody else. And especially if they know money's being made. So it's kind of, I even heard somebody say, well, if that other person's making money, I want some of the money or they need to remove me from their stuff. And I actually heard that and I'm like, okay, here we go. So that just adds another level of, well, if you won't give me $20 from you making that, then I'm going to have to report you. And that's what's going to start happening. I really feel that pettiness is coming. No, George is petty. Petty because he doesn't have enough juice in his tahole and it's drying out and he doesn't want to eat it.
I don't want to eat tofu. Not right now.
Not tofu.
It is now. No, seriously, it does turn into tofu.
Oh, my eyes are super crispy dry. A guy told me how his Filipino sister bailed on 3 months rent all while from her eatery down as she drove a huge new SUV. Yep. And the owner, another big business, all from dead older foreigner's husband. Yeah, she had the money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and everybody is on their cell phones recording everything. And no, that's another thing is that you may not even notice they're doing it. I notice how smooth some of these expats and Filipinos are that just holding their cameras and they're getting everything.
There's newer, smaller cameras.
Yeah, they got the pin cameras up in the clubs. That's the crazy part.
You have glasses now. Well, back then that you've always had the glass with the camera, but now they're getting better.
Mm-hmm,
now they're stabilized. Now they record longer.
Now
they can last 3 hours.
Yeah, with the AI and these AI glasses, they're going to be coming out with new devices that practically everybody's going to be wearing, and it's going to be almost like Star Trek. Everybody's going to be able to start hitting those. It's going to be able to record. It's going to be able to read foreign languages. They already have these things in the glasses, so now they're going to be able to record anyways. So then people just aren't going to know they're being recorded. So they're not even going to have the right to say no. They may never know they're on somebody's thing. So that, again, when are they and how are they going to enforce all of this? And I think they all know it's coming. No, the one that I'm using is erythritol, not sorbitol. It's erythritol, and the basically it's Splenda, and it has the sucralose or the one that's sugar free. I always get them mixed up, sucralose or the allulose. So basically, a lot of those don't kill the gut bacteria, and it's derived of a certain way, but it isn't like what they used to put in the diet soda. So it's one of the safer ones, and I can digest it. It doesn't hurt my stomach. And the stevia gave me migraines, so I have to stay away from anything with stevia. And what was that stuff that was in that original Tab soda? What was the original sugar-free stuff they said was rat poison, pretty much? I forgot the name of the sugar, so let me know what that is. I forgot. But I have a mix that I use, and that's what I've been using on the cakes. And you'd probably say that's way better than some of the other sugars, right, that I had used in the past. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people could not tell that was sugar-free. but it's got the fats in it. Even the cheesecake has butter in it. So if you do it within reason, you know, you're not going to sit around eating an entire cheesecake, then I still use the dairy. But down 8 pounds and loving it, so feel much better. Let's see, my taste buds. Yeah, for those that didn't see it, I even started making my own dark chocolate, but basically it's a cheesecake. It's almost spongy. It's pretty good. Are you all sugared out?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just seeing where we were at. Yeah. These young girls are always saying on vlogs how they will never love another. These men love the fantasy. Yeah, great lies.
Please, right.
Just waiting as their men group. One stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we won't be able to see it because every man has a story. His wife announced, his widow announced recently that she's done. And she even went as far as to tell people, do not approach me in public. But people are guessing she's been with somebody. Her man died in December. I bet she's dating somebody already, which is her right.
That's her right. But all I'm saying is, again,
I never love another.
Social media is not exactly something I recommend.
Well, it's not exactly a real teller of things like celebrities.
I mean, it's okay to post, you know, for your family.
They're telling you the lies that they want you to see or the life that they want you to see, and it's just where it is. We don't tell you guys everything.
Oh my God, you're so big. You're the biggest ever. Nice.
I am. I am.
What? I was talking about you.
Oh, well, I was. George likes that rack that's right on track. Right into that track. How do you like my track there, George?
Right.
Huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Somebody was like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine Heidi with George. I'm like, do you ever think what it's like me to live with this?
What?
Nothing.
What the freak?
Right? That's what I said this morning when I seen somebody's comment. They're like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine poor George with Heidi. And I'm like, okay. So it's like, to each his own, man. It's like honey heaven in here. So picture that, bitch. Right?
Right.
Honey heaven?
No, I got it.
Okay. I'm going to give you a choice here. Describe me with one word.
Moist. Moist.
Say that, George. Say that. You know, I'm going to describe you.
It's like a slip and slide.
Okay, Tiny Dance. Blue jean baby. LA lady. Married a music man. Ballerina. Let's see there. I'm just reading through these. Hey, what's going on, bad boy? Man, I'm.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know why it
There's
does.
only one button.
Actually, if you hit it too far in this corner like I just did, hey, listen, you do you and I do me, and you just stick to the bush.
Hey, bad boy, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Hi, good morning. Hope it all is well. Just lost my dad last week. Oh, so sorry.
So sorry.
I'm really sorry about that. I'm free to travel all over the world now. Sorry to hear about that. A lot of people do wait until kids graduate. They have parents. I have an elder parent. I wish I'd have spent more time. I did spend 10 years of my life with this parent one-on-one. My other sisters and family lived in another area, and then my stepmom had passed away of medical issues, more sudden than we thought. Then it was just him, and I was probably there another 5 years after. So I at that point, after 10 years, and I was like, I wanted to remarry, and then George came along, and I couldn't help but see his bush. And then I said, I need that bush. I need to live in that bush and forever in that sweet bush. And you look so pretty today.
A lot of bush.
Couldn't help it. And I'm like, yeah, so it's, I get it. I miss my family. That's my biggest regret. And I was telling our daughter that if this would have been like the 90s, we'd be writing letters about what we do audio. I do a lot of audio with people versus video. And I said, we'd be writing letters right now, and it'd take forever to hear a response. Especially from the Philippines, would we be waiting a month for a letter or something? What would it take to get a, yeah. And so it's just like, my hair's falling out here. I'm losing my bush too. And so it would have been that. And I said, it is nice to have that. And I do feel connected, but it's not the same. And so it's where it is. Now, if I was super petty, which I can be a lot, I'd be like, oh my God, George, why are you over there spending time with, your granddaughter and your daughter and all that? Because I won't go over there. He's over there all the time. And it's because I want him to, because I wouldn't want him to tell me, oh my God, Heidi, you're spending all your time with your grandson and with your daughters and, all this stuff. And it's like, I get it too. So believe me, I've done more growing up since I came here to the Philippines and understanding, but so sorry on that, bad boy. Cindy, what's going on? What? Filipinas now in thongs too? Oh, surprise. I saw famous tourist beach, two girls helping each other take photos bent over. Yeah, I just seen one on Facebook where it's totally upper butt on there and her videos are playing. And it just blows my mind. But then people say I'm just jealous and all that. And I'm like, but who would let their wife be like that? Or, how would somebody, and some of them have kids and they're right on the beach. And I get being comfortable. Some people like to be exhibitionists and they like to do all this and show themselves. And others have said they're proud of their wives and they're, if they're comfortable in their skin. But I come from a generation where you still need some clothes, even at my smallest, which I was pretty much at weight less than 10 years ago. And I still wore heavy duty clothes, longer sleeves, things covering my body. I still think there's got to be a level of privacy because there's other kids around. Here, I'm going to tell you right now, they do not cover a whole bunch. They're more freer with clothes, but it's also hot here. So I can see why people have less clothes. Oh, he said, look up the Muppet Band. Yeah, George. Oh, you do? You look like that sax player. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
You do look like him. I love the Muppets. When I went to Universal Studio, when they used to have the Muppet Theater, I got to sit in the Muppet Theater with the kids. And I do remember that moment when I went with the kids when they were probably 4 and 5. And I grew up with the Muppets. So Jim Henson?
Yeah.
Victoria. The tourist guide title is because he had his wife's sister and college friend visiting and helping. Many American bloggers make money while on SS and bragging that they make X amount each month. Now they will have to survive on their SS and 85% cannot make it. No, that is true. There's quite a few of them and they usually have multiple children and stuff. So no, some of them, and their checks aren't up there. We know people that are here on less than $1,000 a month and they're barely getting by. So them getting $100 or $200 a month, it's going to hurt. Like, let's give for an example that whole deal with Peachback Mountain, American-Filipino. He said his Social Security was only $800 or $900, but we know that between them, they were running the pig farm. We know they were doing YouTube. We know that they were telling people they were together and the baby was his. They were collecting more money on top of that. And what would they be doing being she's not working anymore? They can't be making all that much money for the pigs. There is money, but how many can you sell when there's not a holiday and it costs money to run the farm? We know that they had people there helping her. And so I'm going to tell you that YouTube channel was bringing in, I don't know if I had to guesstimate, 7, 8, 9,000 a month. If something comes up where they're, they don't put a lot of people on their camera, but that's an example of people supplementing an income. I know they've had other people on their camera because they go out and about and they show the people that they help and stuff. That would still be violating and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me check. Looks like somebody's here. So, yeah, it's going to affect some people, but I bet you for a long time that they're going to avoid, what's going on. It's probably what's it called? Yep, that's them.
Is it big fun?
Well, we'll know here in a minute. They'll tell you. I think there is one that is unpaid. We
Bayad na. 549.
oh, just round it up to 6 because I haven't. Yeah, it's my vitamins. Oh. So yes, I would agree. You know, for a long time they said that was us. And I'm like, well, first off, it's George's channel, always has been, goes into his bank account, he spends it. You know, anything that comes in on the channel, all I care about is it goes for the pets. And this month we're about to repurchase 70 is it 70 pounds? We have 25, 30. Yeah, we have almost 30 kg of just cat food for outdoor and indoor cats. And the same with the dogs is a separate cost. Willie is a rescue outside. There's another dog that wanders around that we feed. And so that's all I've ever cared about. And we had a bunch of savings when we arrived, not like others, but we've dwindled through that quite a bit. And you just can't come here relying on that, but we know a lot of them are. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's the nighttime vitamins, the B12 and some of the magnesium. So no, the answer is no on that. A lot of them are thinking that's the answer. Right now, it's the biggest answer to what's going on. We've always had a disclaimer. We just updated it on all, we have multiple channels. He said, if you get people's permission and you put a disclaimer, is it okay? No, they're still going to go through. And we believe the ones they're going to try to prosecute or go after, which we think are very little, according to the attorney, will be the ones that are really being violated, like the girls on Walking Street, men walking around, sitting with the girls on Walking Street, children and women in a mall that are eating their lunch and then you make money on it, or you're just putting them on there. Those type of things. Being up in a business at a hotel and you're broadcasting that is the ones, but disclaimers will give them the option to take it down. If you take it down, there should be no reason why the Philippine government is going to go after you. So I think there has to be stages like YouTube and other vloggers. By the way, I don't like you use my content. Some can hit you right away, or they can give you an opportunity to take it down. But if it comes to you doing your own content, if you remove it and correct the issues, they'll have to even probably prove that it caused an issue. There's Pigsy, or we call her Rabbit. That's the one that's missing. Her tail's all bent and it looks like she's missing it. So yes, the disclaimer would be correct. Also, they're saying you have to register with the National Privacy Company Act or whatever. NP, is it called NPA or not? But the whole
No, not NPA.
Anyways, I'm tired now. I know that we've contacted them. There is where you can go on there and it mentions registration, but it's highly confusing because it's talking about paying fees and having a controller and all these other things. And they haven't yet put the whole thing together yet. They want people to register, but I don't see how. I think this was more meant commercial side. And oh, look, he's got your necklace. He likes your necklace. And so they have not gotten back to us. So we are attempting to do that part of it. But like I said, I doubt we drop another video. I wanted to record tomorrow. If we're inside of a hotel for our birthday, we'll let you guys see, or we'll just be talking about it. We could probably take our own still photos of different things, but I doubt because of this, we will definitely curb what we're doing because it's not worth it. It's not worth, anybody that's been a long-term fan, we already, keep in contact with and tell them what's going on here. And we talk about, that's what we've been doing for years now. It's just not, actually, honestly, it's never been all of that. Let's see. And people at this point, hey, leave her alone. The cats are fighting. People will have to make their decisions, but the privacy thing, yeah. The permission disclaimer is the start of it. Because I noticed Chubbs Dub C, and I'm going to put him out there because he's been doing it, what's just been obvious. We watch him. He keeps putting something up at the beginning of it and saying, but if he runs into people, that's not going to be enough to break that. So you can have it inside. It'll give people the opportunity if they accidentally end up. But if he's just walking down the street and there's a bunch of people and he's up close with a vendor that he didn't, but who's to determine that he did or didn't? You know, I mean, how, I mean, where and how are they going to determine with the department or whoever that says, you know, did he get permission from that person? He might have, but can't that person change their mind? The answer is yes.
Yes.
See, so I think it's he who files, and that's where they're going to follow up. I don't think there's going to be policemen going around saying, "Hey, put that camera away," and they're like, "I'm a
Well,
blogger.
it's
I'm
kinda
just here on
like-
vacation. It's for me." How are they going to enforce all of
Well,
this?
for example, like us personally, we've experienced this. Me and Heidi were at the mall and we're talking to somebody, and they were fine recording, and then all of a sudden, like a week later, they contact us like, "Hey, by the way, I don't want to be on that video." It's like you didn't have a problem being recorded, it was obvious, but now all of a sudden you have a problem. Point being is, can they change their mind?
Right.
Yes.
That's where it's going to be a balance of things. And I'm sure there's going to be naysayers, and they'll go through and say, well, you have stuff and all. Yeah, it's
I
old
mean, it
stuff.
doesn't
We
mean
haven't broke it
that you have
since.
either permission. It doesn't mean that, you know, it's forever.
The privacy disclaimer will help to some extent, because I don't think they can go after you if you remove what the people found offended. So that's where it's gonna get down to. But you should put it on your channel, and we have it under every video, and it's on the main part of About Us, so it's very clear. And we've always done this thing about, okay, what we discuss is an open conversation. Don't rely on us for legal issue and legal information, all that. This is for entertainment purposes. And we used to have that on there, and people used to laugh at us, and we kept it on, and then it was too much, took up too much space. And then we're like, no, we tend to mention it all the time. And so
It's on the, what do you call that? It's on the description.
yeah, so
Not necessarily on the video, but it's on the description.
yeah.
It's always been on the description.
Yeah, I think it'd be best just to put it in, the descriptions. And so, yeah, this is an expectation for privacy in Australia. Yeah, videoing and taking photos of the police may be deemed for suspicious. It was the same in Egypt. They were trying to take cameras away for no reason, and I was just recording for myself. I wasn't vlogging. It was for me to look at when I got home, and they still took my camera.
Don't
So
go to
it was
Egypt.
an actual
Thank me later.
yes. Yeah, upsetting somebody's privacy. Yeah. Truth again, right, guys? Don't do business. Yeah, definitely don't do business here. I don't even know how the Filipinos are doing or why, because they tend to close. And a lot of the long-term companies are the super big companies that are commercial here. And the fact they spent $3 million in savings US, that's a lot of investment for 2-3 people, or if that other guy did, and I guarantee they didn't make that profit back. So that was just, you don't open the business if you don't have 10 times the money in the bank to lose situation.
Another example, like I went to this place, right? They have food, and it was really good. And I know them personally. I know the people running it, so they're not strangers. And I bought it from them. I said, "Oh, hey, this is new. When did this open up? Today's our first day." And I bought the food. It was great, delicious Filipino food. And then I come back some other day. It was closed. I was like, "Oh, maybe they're closed today." I come back the next day, closed. I come back another day, closed. And I come back the other day.
Kind of scary, yeah. Yeah, the Avani Alawi was the one complaining the other day about her electric bill, and said the pressure in the house and everything, or not the electric, but the water bill. And what it was is she had like 197 peso bill, and I guess maybe she had not been there, but that's a base fee or something. Under 200 pesos is a base fee.
It doesn't matter where you live. There's
But
always a base
always,
fee.
and you're right. All these big bloggers, that is their content.
And
a lot
why-
of them, the big ones, making
If
millions.
you can't afford $4, there's something wrong with
She's racking up millions. Yes, just walking around. So the law they're talking about. Yeah, no, this is going to have to apply to them all. I just seen one that had 3 million, and he's got good numbers. That means he's making a living, probably has a supporting cast member. Like he had several people that sit with him and everything, but he did vlog out. He did gray out the person's face, and it gave us an ideal because the people in the background was slightly blurred. So that is probably going to be enough. He was giving them a form of privacy. And that's probably how it's going to be. But like somebody like the P said, the Filipino P said, who's going to want to watch something where you can't see the people around?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yep. And they said there's software. Sure, there's software. I mean, it was weird how they said that. They said that there might be software out there that can do it. No, it's out there.
Well,
they just need to know how to vlog. They need to know how to edit.
Phone.
Well, it's an editing thing. Not everybody knows the editing techniques, or it's
basic.
Okay. Well, for some people, it's not basic, George. That's a kind of but it is out there. So they just are going to have to do better editing, or I think it's going to cause quite a few to drop out. Right now, it's not, but they're picking on each other in there. I pay all the time here. Yes, deport illegals anywhere.
No, that's true. They're legal. They're legal.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's kind of like, there, and you'd be surprised how many expats here are not renewing their immigration.
Oh, yeah,
they pay the first time they get in, and then they never do. That white guy is still here. The one that we covered, the British guy that came on arguing with us, he's still here. They never did anything. They're aware he's there. His girlfriends have reported him, and they know exactly where he is after he did the newspaper article. He's still here. So in my opinion, when they enforce all of that, knowing that he defamated the country, which, by the way, people have been thrown out of this country for defamating that bad. If you come in as a celebrity and say Manila was just dirty and nasty, as that celebrity, a lot of time they blacklist you and you can never get back in. That's up to them to do it, not trolls to recommend it. But I'm just surprised the guy is still here. And so he has not paid in what he said 6 years or something. And he was here with no money, had no money. He set up accounts, collected money. He's been teaching online since he's been here. He allegedly was abusive with the girlfriend. There was all kinds of things against him. And he told the newspaper that, and then totally defamated the country in front of a national newspaper. And then here he is, still here. And he's vlogging now. So he's been doing stuff on air. He puts stuff out on Facebook. And so who knows? But I think, those need to be enforced. And if you know in advance and you're getting a ticket to get out, that's kind of where I agree with the president. And I do feel bad for the children. But here's the thing, like those families that have the kids, and the kids are here and they're ripping their parents away. That's horrible. That act is horrible. But the parent knew, that parent knew at that point. It's a tough call on that. They need to work to keep paying things. There's a desperation. It's a full circle. The kids are currently legal until the status turns, until they do this birthright citizen thing.
Well, even if they did, it's not going to retro that.
Well, I'm just letting you know the stuff out on the internet stating that that they still may get rid of these kids back to the original country.
They could, on the grounds that the original caretakers, aka the parents, are not there anymore.
So something like that. It's just going to affect a lot of people, but it all starts with the beginning that, they possibly got into the country illegal to start with. Like here, they come over on boats from China all the time. If they're ripped out of here, nobody, really says anything. So I get the enforcement. There's some things that are, but he is going to allow the farmers to keep the employees that have been here that are illegal. They're going to let it up to each state and the farmers to deal with that.
Now that I don't agree with.
That's where I'm at. Yes, he said the farmers and those workers will be given an opportunity, not citizenship and not paperwork, but the ability to stay.
Unless he's talking about sponsorship. No, that's different.
Well,
what I'm saying
basically.
Is, that's
but do you think that makes it right for just the farmers and not housekeepers or other employees?
Well, see, that's the thing. Technically, any business owner has the right or ability to sponsor their employees. So technically, even if, let's say, it's a cleaning business or a laundry business, if the owner is willing to sponsor the employee or employees, that's fine. Yeah,
so there are opportunities given. Cindy says, I have zero sympathy for illegals.
Well, yeah, if they're
Me
illegal,
too.
they're illegal.
Yeah. It's just where
it
is.
I
think the fees are a little exuberant, and I think everybody should be able to travel where they want if they have the proper documents and they, everything's on the up and up. But I don't think they'll change that anytime soon. But yes, being in a country without the documents and some of them being brutal and the crimes that are happening and all of that, those I agree. But it's, it's kind of where it is. It could be. Yeah, easy with the sugar, George, type 2 diabetes. Yeah. No, that's true. He does.
No, we do check. We do have a machine here that tests the blood sugar level.
Yeah,
Yes,
so we do.
do.
And I have been incorporating more and more for him. So it's like when I make the teas and all that, so, and he doesn't sit around
And
drinking.
I'm actually not a sugar freak. My issue is salt more than anything.
That is true.
I don't look for sugar. I don't look for candy. I look for salt.
But it's the small things, though, that do add up. Like me, I was drinking my calories. At one point, I was drinking 3 and 4 coffees a day, and I put 2 packs in the coffee of that 3 in 1, and then I found out there was like 20 grams of sugar in each pack.
Yeah, the sugar I get is usually from coffee.
So.
And the taho, I haven't had taho in I don't know how long, maybe 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, so
no, I rarely get taho.
His is the salt, but yeah, once we get up here in age, we have to look out for it.
But no, salt is my weakness.
Yes, we did, Velio. We did talk about that way early on. Yeah, we're almost at a 3-hour live stream. So yes, it's as we're to understand. Yes, they're definitely closed down. They're not paying bills and everything. So according to sources, yes, that's out there. That yes, officially.
I know for our birthday we can book a room at Drake Hotel.
I can book a hotel in your bush and be hidden for weeks.
Right.
Your hair bush and the other bush.
I have illegals in my hair.
Yes, at the beginning we did. I mean, the live stream was supposed to be about calling it quits for the YouTubers and what's going on. The Far East Poppy and Drake Bar and people coming here and calling it quits when they open these businesses has been the entire live stream. And that I'm done with George. I'm out of here.
True story.
At least once a week, I'm like, that's it, we're done. Remember when we first met? It was like, we're done. And George says, okay. that day they answered no. Hi from Wisconsin. Okay,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why. I got my sleep last night. When did you grow an afro, George? Cool mustache. You look like Clarence Williams III, 1968 show called Mod Squad. Yeah. He played the character named Link. Yeah, I think his name was Link. Hey, Pablo. Oh, there we go. Saccharin. That's the one that Tab used. It's saccharin, and there's one other one. What is the other artificial sweetener that's also, they really say is, but yes, and I think they still use these in some of them. So, like I said, I like the stevia. It had the most natural taste, but it had some hint of aftertaste, but I get a migraine almost every time. Oh, Splenda gives you headaches. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with the erythritol and with the other one.
Xylitol.
Xylitol, I think is the other one. Yeah, the one we have is sucralose, and all of them have a bad thing. But I know that the white sugar, and they did recommend coconut sugar because it's made from the coconut and certain things, and a lot of health nuts will use just coconut sugar. But it still breaks down into, with it being the carbs, and then it still spikes blood sugar, and it's definitely, once you do that, no matter what it is, it's moderation. So me, I was drinking tons of sugar and small snacks that had a lot of calories and sugar, a lot of sugar, saccharin. Yeah. Yes, you're watching Cheech and Chong, Jordan. Yeah, I just couldn't handle the tab, and drinking constant diet sodas is really bad for your body. The carbonation, everything else.
Oh, it was banned in Australia?
A lot of them. There's a lot of things that are banned even in Europe, and definitely you'd be surprised what's banned. Did you guys have an OF? I don't know what that meant. Maybe he meant OFW? Yeah, this one. I have no idea what that means. Was that supposed to be for something?
I don't know.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? Let's see. That's
OnlyFans.
Oh, yes. George is always on my. Filipinos are not supposed to have them type of accounts or that account. They said there's like a whole law around that situation of, look it up. I don't have it exactly what it's supposed to be, but I know they can't. They're not allowed to do what they would call pornographic. And let me tell you what, they push the line here, especially. Actually, as we said, this happens everywhere in the world. If you see them in France, they're half naked. They're half naked in the U.S. Matter of fact, it's getting even crazier in the U.S. So don't get me wrong. It's because we live in the Philippines. That's why I'm talking about it. But allegedly, they cannot have anything that puts anything out like that. And the Filipino P did a good video on that one.
There's nothing wrong with admiring fish.
Especially when it's been on your bush. Back from the dentist. Oh, I don't know. Who said the fines were $10? No, it's going to be a matter.
There's what if?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
What he's saying is, we have to remember that it is the Philippines.
Yeah, you're right on the family thing. My kids are aware of me vlogging, and my partner actually sends me videos and upload of his family members. Yeah, and they're definitely going to. And I get not having, like, certain ones said okay, and then later on down the road we had trolls that were trying to use family stuff against us, and then it's like, okay, then it is personal the bigger the channel got. And so only so many people know about, a lot of our private life like that, or have ever seen them. Or they dox you till they find them, and really that's up to them. But I agreed that certain things needed to come down that we initially had, because I wouldn't have thought about when I uploaded some of my grandson's videos. But then when you get a channel this size and then people are doxing and giving you a hard time, it's like, yeah, it's a little odd to leave his videos up. And so it's and they asked for them to be removed. So yes, he was my rock, and being the youngest son, I'm free to travel. Other things now, the funeral is 16th, and I'm away today for 4 days, my son's birthday. Our son's birthday is in a couple days. And then, of course, we have the 4th of July. Both of our birthdays are within 2 weeks, and then tomorrow, which is Friday.
Yeah, today's the 3rd.
Yes. For us, it's in.
Well, it's the 3rd for them now. Is it?
No, it's 11:51. It's almost midnight
almost.
there.
That's what I said. Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Wow, 6 years, just renewed my visa. Yeah, I think they're going to. I think they're eventually. They just announced, I think, here in the past year, that they were going to start scrutinizing people that renew a constant tourist visa. Those that are going out of the country and coming back in. And I would say as of the first of the year, it's getting, although I can't say how many have been denied a reentry visa because of it, I wouldn't risk it. They are asking, why haven't you gotten on an SRV? Why, if you're married, why haven't you applied for this one? And so they are supposed to be directing people. And I think eventually, because of all this whole situation, they may really start doing it. Hey, Victor. Aspartame, that's the one. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, if you guys are not subscribed, make sure that you guys are subscribed for sure. What is the kick with this guy? He's still on that thing, and he's put it up 3 times. Is there some connection, Salvatore, of you and this person? It's the 3rd time you've mentioned him, and not sure the pushing of, I don't know who he is, whatever happened. That's the 3rd time you've put that in there, and just recently within the last 2 minutes. What is the deal? So, okay. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap it up. We're going into a 3rd hour, and we appreciate everybody coming in.
Say your goodbyes.
Members,
Thank you so much, Marion, for
say your goodbyes. Thank you so much for the sticker money and the birthday money that's coming in. And if you guys see us out and about tomorrow,
so
say
hi.
So
sorry to say you don't get to see my bush today. You won't see.
Yeah, we didn't get George didn't get the 10 stickers today.
Grapes. Yeah, so sorry. It's your loss.
You were supposed to mention your favorite toy, and we're not talking about my toy, and we're not talking about the can of whipped cream and your childhood memory.
We only got one out of 10.
Well, then save it for the next time. Thank you guys for the
Thank you so much,
support.
guys.
Thank you for
Appreciate it
everybody
so much.
coming in, and you got something sweet there to eat. So, all right, guys, we will see you.
Love you all.
Yeah, it'll probably be in a couple of days, or if something comes up before Saturday in another 48 hours, then. All right, guys.
Oh, please have a happy, great 4th of July. Victor C says. Night, Sarah Tyson. Cindy
Yeah,
says thank you.
technically, if I do a live stream on Saturday,
Thanks
that'll
for
probably
live
be the 4th
streaming.
for you guys. So
Victor
I
C.
might, but